promise school for at-risk children.
Yeah,
Should she go? I think that would be wonderful if Melania Trump went for a visit.
I promise school. Here's the other thing you could tweet, and the substance of it when you get past the Don Lemon, which you should move past quickly. I promise school? Well, wait a second. LeBron, as a man of the left, why the need for an I promise school? I mean, you have neighborhood schools.
Right, they're not doing the job, just like some neighborhood schools aren't doing the job in Chicago.
But
I think a lot of athletes are selfish and they don't spend their own money to help their community that they grew up in, and I applaud him for doing what he did.
I'm very that's great. I want to help LeBron connect the dots, and those on the left who feel the way that Simmons does. Is it Simmons or Simons? I haven't seen it on TV in a while. I don't care, so I can't forget the pronunciation. But whatever. What are charter schools? An indictment of the public school system in its centrally planned form that the teachers' unions and the left support without qualification. So the I Promise School, I'm happy. I'm happy he's doing something innovative in the space. Great. You don't have to agree with me to do that. There's a lot of confused liberals in Chicago that support charter schools because they don't understand they're undermining their own position. But I would like to spotlight that part of what LeBron James had to say. Dan in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call. I am very thankful that Trump is calling out the media. For many years, I've been fed up with how they distort the truth, not only in political matters, but also in social matters, like with hands up, don't shoot, and all the nonsense that they reported as to what happened when that police shooting happened, and riots occurred because of their lies. The lies about Trayvon Martin being that little boy, they illustrated him as that football player, about 11 years old, for about 6 months until finally somebody showed the picture of the 6'1" teenager. The way that Bloomberg has its own journalism school to help teach these journalists how to be leftists. It's good that Trump is calling them out because people want to believe what's printed in their papers and on their computers coming from their media sources, and many times it's distorted or outright unfactual.
Thanks for the call, Dan. Tell you what, to your point, they sometimes those people who want to believe what's not factual continue to believe it even when it's debunked. And then they get a job in the New York Times editorial board. Sarah Jeong, we talked about last week.
Yeah.
And
who hates white men?
The story continues to metastasize. Even Andrew Sullivan now weighing in. Andrew Sullivan, certainly a man of the left, weighing in on Sarah Jeong's tweets over the weekend. More being unearthed.
Why isn't anybody calling her a racist?
Some certainly are.
Oh, that's good.
But the idea that this was all of her tweets, were just parodies.
Because she was being trolled, they said, so she was fighting back.
Yeah, that's with farcical tweets. It turns out more digging undermines that case. Also, Sarah Jeong saying, I think it's a little creepy to go back and dig up people's old tweets.
No, it's not.
Oh, really?
Corporations do it every day that they interview an employee.
Why don't you tell a couple of current Major League Baseball players about tweets that are 4 and 5 years old and how they've been treated over intemperate tweets from a bygone time period?
One had to go back to the bullpen.
Sarah Jeong? Yeah. She continued to believe the Rolling Stones rape hoax story even after Rolling Stone disavowed it. I believe Jackie.
Really?
Yeah, she had a long post about it.
Fictitious person is Jackie?
Yeah, even
Jackie doesn't exist.
Rolling Stone disavowed it. They paid out a settlement to UVA. But Sarah Jeong, no, I still believe a person that doesn't exist about a thing that didn't occur. Remarkable.
And she's on their editorial board?
She is.
Ouch.
Andrew Sullivan tweeting over the weekend. Again, man of the left, leading, one of the leading gay rights activist of the last 30 years. He writes of this thread that was put together of Jeong's tweets. The thread is amazing. Jeong is obsessed by hatred of white people. Hundreds of racist tweets. It's not me saying it. Andrew Sullivan pointing out the obvious. And by the way, of course, Jeong has previously attacked Andrew Sullivan. He writes, I'm not calling for the New York Times to fire her, despite her racist attacks on white people. Jeong, however, did call for me to be fired for far less. And I agree, by the way, with those who I want save Sarah. Save Sarah. Absolutely do not fire her under any circumstances. Do not advocate for that.
How did she get that job? Or it's a mind scratcher. Head scratcher, excuse me.
She should stay there. Not a single. I don't want to hear a single conservative call for her ouster. The New York Times said they vetted her. They were aware of the tweets, and they were satisfied with her explanation. So let's leave it right there, because she is a representative of the New York Times, the gray lady, the quality of their intellect and journalism and readership, even though I read the New York Times. But I mean those who are fellow travelers who read the New York Times. This is perfectly reflective. And she has people rallying to her defense, too. Jessica Prois, Huffington Post. Sarah Jeong has a right to be angry. Jeong's anger is merited. An angry Asian person has a right to their rage. This matters because Asian Americans have historically been told that our rage isn't our due. Well, who are you raging against?
Who are they raging against?
Yeah, I mean, this
white man? Well, clearly, because she tweeted about old white men.
Who's the discrimination case filed by Asian American students and Asian American groups against Harvard University? Is that a bunch of white conservatives? Who's discriminating against Asian
They're flaming liberals.
Who's discriminating against Asian Americans in the California university system, in the Ivy League? What was it? The study, the look into Harvard's admissions policies found they were purposefully lowering the character scores of Asian American applicants to reduce the number they would have to admit. Yeah, they're playing the quota game.
Test scores, but character scores.
Is that racist? Conservatives in charge of the Ivy Leagues? The University of California? The California university system, I should say. Very curious. Very curious, the left. Let's hear from a representative. Philip in Blue Island, you're on Chicago's Morning News.
That's pretty nice.
Thank you.
I have to change up. Can I? Good morning. Can I hate the KKK?
Yes.
Other white groups without hating all white people?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you. The thing about Trump, he's very smart. He knows. He already said he can shoot somebody in Manhattan and not lose a vote. So he knows he can use his constituencies to his benefit by putting out tweets about LeBron James. Especially if they are borderline racist tweets, and saying he's not smart. Don Lemon has achieved a lot. He has a major television show on a major network, and he has plenty of awards. I'm sorry?
Don worked hard to get that time slot to have his own show.
For the work assignments he wanted to take, of course.
We talked about that this weekend. When Don Lemon worked at Channel 5, there was a shooting, albeit it was a gang shooting in Park Ridge, and he refused to do a gangbanger story. And I even reached out to him. I said, Don, this is Park Ridge. I know you're not from here. Park Ridge is where Harrison Ford is from. More importantly, Hillary Clinton was lived on Vine Street right there, and we don't have a lot of homicides in Park Ridge. It's a big deal, but he refused to do it, so they brought in Phil Rogers, and Phil had to do the story.
Fascinating.
While Don sat in the truck and read a book.
Phil, let me tell you, Philip from Blue Island, let me tell you something else, too. And this goes on the conservative side, too. I don't know how to break this to you. You do not have to be intelligent to have a show on a cable network, and a cable TV network.
But you don't have to be dumb either.
Well, you don't have to be dumb. You don't have to be dumb. Some of are. Yeah.
So Trump embellishes. He lies. He tells half truths. And to say that he's the dumbest,
Well, I think that,
and to get away with it, and then to point at LeBron James and say that Don Lemon is smart enough to make LeBron James look smart. Come on, don't believe Trump. Trump is playing y'all.
No,
he play you every day of the week.
Trump said Don Lemon is so dumb he makes LeBron James look smart because he's the dumbest man on television.
That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying that Don Lemon has to be smart enough to make somebody look dumb. That's all I'm saying. And so for Trump to put this dumb stuff out there,
he's making somebody look smart,
on the right.
Dumb. Yeah, he's making LeBron James look smart.
You're missing my point. You're missing my point. But for Trump to put that out there in such a, and he always says that Maxine Waters is low IQ, but when it comes to people like Hillary Clinton, she's a criminal, whatever you call her, crooked. You know,
you would rather him call Don Lemon
black
crooked?
people with their intelligence. He attacks black people with their intelligence, but he attacks everybody else, Little Marco, all these other people that look more like him. Not in an intelligent or being them being less intelligent.
So
Trump is using the right.
So you rather him refer to Don Lemon as a criminal, that you would support?
I rather Trump grow up.
Okay.
Well, Trump. Wait, you guys, we need to applaud President Trump because he did exercise restraint when he got to Ohio. He doubled down. He did not double down on LeBron James. He left the LeBron James issue on the bench. And instead, he talked about the heat.
This room was not designed quite for this crowd. And you people are hot. So much for my brand new beautiful suit.
He was there campaigning for Troy Balderson. Is that correct?
Balderson versus O'Connor. Yeah. This is a bellwether seat tomorrow. 40 years that's been in Republican hands. And there's a full court press on for Republicans to hold that seat for, based on the idea of losing a seat that's been in Republican hands for 40 years in Ohio, swing state that, of course, Trump won.
And he won there by 11 points in that district.
Right. And so you're worried about that becoming even more energy or producing more energy on the left were a seat like that to fall 90 days out. So that's why Trump is in Ohio putting his stamp on that race, and we'll see how that goes.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Also, Jim Jordan was there, and he got a hero's welcome. Forecast for today, severe thunderstorms late this evening into the early morning hours. Otherwise, it's going to be sunshine clouds, a high of 89 degrees. Tonight, a severe evening thunderstorm, as we mentioned. And tomorrow, some sun and clouds, but we can't rule out a passing shower or thunderstorm, a high of 81 degrees. Let's get the latest on the roadways. The one and only Jim Talamonte, who joins us from the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. Edensburg eastbound heavy Waukegan Road onto the Edens and ongoing construction there. And the Edens itself, just a bit tight inbound Cicero Junction. 20 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose up on 19. Kennedy inbound, 27 minutes O'Hare to downtown. But outbound it's 40 out of airport traffic. And 190 has some delays in both directions. About Eisenhower, 46 minutes, 390 to downtown. Slow Mannheim to Harlem and Cicero to Ogden after a crash. Outbound a 2-minute delay, Austin to Harlem. Stevenson, 43 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan, 26 minutes, 95 to downtown. Bishop Ford, 17 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Northbound Tri-State, got delays from North Avenue to Balmoral. The other tollways look pretty good. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Looking for a fun summer vacation idea? Charlottesville in Albemarle County, Virginia is a short and easy trip with daily nonstop flights on 2 airlines from O'Hare. Tour the homes of former presidents Jefferson, Monroe, and Madison. Sip wine at one of the area's 30-plus wineries. Take a hike in Shenandoah National Park. Dine al fresco at one of the many farm-to-table restaurants. Or stroll down one of the longest pedestrian malls in the country. Plan your trip today at visitcharlottesville.org.
Your local 1-hour heating and air conditioning knows how miserable it feels when your AC goes out. You want it fixed fast, fixed right, and get a fast quote. Unlike some companies, we don't give you a quote until we actually see what the problem is. Then we'll give you our straightforward price and always stand by our work. Right now, get savings on any AC repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1-HOUR.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I've got ankylosing spondylitis, which is a arthritic disease, calcification of the major joints and spine, and I just don't have the pain that I used to have. It's really kind of amazing. Balance of Nature has been an amazing product. I've recommended it to literally hundreds. I'm a pastor, and I've said, y'all just try it. Give it a month. Give it a try. And so hopefully they have. But it's an amazing product, and the neatest thing is when you first open up that bottle and you can smell the fruits and vegetables. Every time I open one, I just get a big kick out of that.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Are you tired of working for someone else making them rich? Do you have a positive attitude and an entrepreneur mindset? And are you willing to take real risk? Then you're in luck. The NV Real Estate Company has been perfecting the art of wholesaling properties for cash. And when you call now, they'll send you a free copy of their new kit, The Hidden Treasures in Wholesaling Property. In this kit, you'll see their wholesaling formula for locating, evaluating, and flipping properties for profit in any area. You'll also learn how to potentially access discounted real estate and find the right funding partners for that property to wholesale. Call 1-800-587-0182 now to get your free wholesaling kit. Call 800-587-0182 now and get free admission to live training in your area, which includes a free meal, a free smartwatch, and free USB drive loaded with his training information. Call 800-587-0182. That's 800-587-0182 now and get your free kit today. Attention Chicagoland job seekers in manufacturing and warehousing. Nexus Employment Solutions may have the right position you've been looking for. Nexus Employment Solutions combines commitment, character, and communications to connect employers with employees and employees with jobs that are more than just a good fit. Nexus is creating game changers for companies and job seekers, one successful match at a time. They'll do everything in their power to make you feel heard and understood, and offer a great variety of employment opportunities. They're committed to treating all employees with kindness, dignity, and respect. At Nexus, they invest the time to get to know you and your career objectives, and they'll place you in the right position to meet your needs. Start today by visiting jobs.nexusemployment.com. That's jobs.nexusemployment.com. Log on today to jobs.nexusemployment.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Tom Goleb, Chief Financial Officer of Navitas Systems, a leader in the next generation of advanced battery technology and a customer of Signature Bank. A few years ago, I heard Signature Bank on an AM 560 radio ad just as our previous commercial bank was being acquired. I knew Mick O'Rourke and Kevin Bastuga from a prior enterprise. I valued my relationship with them and the way they worked earned my trust and my business. So I decided to give Signature Bank a call. They took the time to understand our early stage technology company that has its own set of challenges. Signature Bank took care of us, and now we are satisfied customers.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy talking about Trump servicing the public by providing tweets on the Fourth Estate, so he argues. Tony in Palos Heights, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan. Hi, Amy. I just got a quick comment to make. I was watching that speech Friday night, and
in Ohio.
I couldn't believe, in Ohio, right, and in that hot, small venue, and the president was sweating profusely, and I couldn't believe that he didn't have a couple of bottles of water up there for him, or somebody didn't bring any water. The guy's in his 70s, and he's standing up there for an hour and a quarter or so, hour and 20 minutes, and all revved up, and he didn't get to take a drink of water. I can't believe that somebody wouldn't think of, give him a bottle of water to drink there.
Yeah, where was Marco Rubio with the water?
I was worried about him.
All right, thanks for the call,
well, he
Tony.
looked
Appreciate
fine.
it.
I mean, he was spry. He was energized. He was talking about Jim Jordan.
What a great defender he's been. What courage. I'll tell you what, there's a brave, tough cookie. I don't want to wrestle him. He's tough.
Nobody wants you to wrestle him, Mr. President.
Yeah, and Jim Jordan doesn't want to wrestle you either, because that would not end well.
No.
But yeah, no, he was sweating a lot. It was a hot box in there.
We'll talk
Can we get some air conditioning in here.
Well, it's it's not the first sauna he's been in.
Yeah.
He should have just gone up there with a towel. At the top of the 8 o'clock hour, we'll talk to Selena Zito from the Wednesday Examiner about that key congressional race in Ohio and where things stand with the midterms. But coming up at 6:36, do you think, I should say, you married the right person? I'm going to explain to you why you didn't.
And later, move over Amish texter. We have an Amish Uber driver. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. This morning, the U.S. set to reimpose its first sanctions against Iran since President Trump pulled the U.S. out of the Iran nuclear agreement. NBC's Ali Arouzi is in Tehran with more on what that may mean for that country.
Now, on Saturday, Iran's interior minister said that if the government doesn't come up with a plan to deal with U.S. sanctions, then you could see up to 1 million jobs being lost in the country.
Sanctions will affect Iran's buying of U.S. dollars, its trade in gold, and its automotive industry. Further sanctions hitting Iran's oil industry are set to be imposed in November. Chicago police are investigating a violent weekend. As many as 60 were shot and injured, 10 killed. Through Sunday evening, Chicago Chief of Patrol Fred Waller discussed what investigators know so far.
We have an environment where people do not feel any repercussions for using guns to commit violence, and thus these weapons flow freely onto our streets.
Follows a recent report from police showing a 10% decrease in shootings in the month of July. In other news we're following this morning, dozens are dead, as many as 91 in Indonesia after a strong earthquake. More than 160 have been hurt in that disaster. Police in Berkeley, California reported over a dozen arrests Sunday, but no large-scale violence as alt-right demonstrators clashed with counter-protesters in the streets. Several small fires were started and officers confiscated things like rocks and hammers. The protest came just one day after another rally in Portland, Oregon. In Chicago, Chicago police tell us a pit bull is dead after attacking a woman in the South Deering neighborhood. The 57-year-old woman was taken to a hospital after bites to her neck and body, where she later died. Chicago police shot and killed the animal when it charged at them in the 10,000 block of South Calhoun. Candidate for Chicago mayor Troy LaRaviere is out with a blistering campaign video targeting Mayor Rahm Emanuel. LaRaviere is a former Chicago public school principal removed amid allegations of insubordination. LaRaviere trails behind in fundraising cash with only about $13,000 on hand, according to state filings. The Chicago Tribune has left its longtime home along Michigan Avenue, but the newspaper's iconic sign will apparently remain when the landmark building is turned into condominiums. Paper is reporting that the 8-foot-tall Chicago Tribune letters will be removed later this year during a construction project to turn the Trib Tower into condos. The letters will then be put back in early 2020 when the renovation is complete. Padres pull away late with 5 runs. They pound the Cubs 10-6 at Wrigley Field. White Sox over the Rays in St. Pete, 8-7. Bears gearing up for their second preseason game against the Bengals Thursday at Paul Brown Stadium. The news service of the Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA is a national nonprofit offering more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports. Coaches, parents, and administrators visit pcadevzone.org. 6:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager tries to understand the left's latest outrage.
I don't know how they sleep at night, since they believe in all of their hysterias on the left. But the latest for the left is straws, plastic straws. They don't enjoy you having much joy. It is an amazing phenomenon of the ascetic religion of leftism.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Bubba Burger is America's favorite burger. Bubba Burger offers something for everyone at the grill. Beef, turkey, and veggie burgers. The brand, the quality, the convenience. You'll never bite a burger better than a Bubba.
How's that New Year's resolution coming that you swore you'd stick to? You know, the one to get fit? I know. Well, it's never too late to restart or set a new fitness goal. Right Fit, Chicagoland's premier inclusive community gym, believes your goals are their goals. Right Fit focuses on you and has programs specifically designed for post-rehab adults, seniors, high school and college athletes, special needs children, and firefighters. Each fitness plan is designed for you to reach your fitness goals. That's why Right Fit only employs college-educated, certified, and experienced training specialists. Visit one of Right Fit's 3 clean and welcoming locations in Chicagoland, Willowbrook, LaGrange, and Orland Park. Or visit right-fit.com to learn how they can come to your home. Right Fit cares about educating and motivating you to get back on track and reach your goals free of pain and frustration. For a limited time, get a free fitness and health assessment followed by a free 60-minute training session. Book an appointment today at right-fit.com. Your fitness goals are their fitness goals. right-fit.com.
6:35. And a check on that morning ride to work in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. It's heavy traffic on the outbound Kennedy Expressway from before Irving Park to O'Hare. We're looking at about 42 minutes from downtown to the airport. It's 12 to get to the junction. Inbound, it is 27 minutes from O'Hare to downtown, 13 from Montrose, and 10 to the Express. There are delays on 190 in both directions at the airport. Eden Spur eastbound stop and go Waukegan Road to the Edens. Then it's 20 minutes Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 19. On Eisenhower, 46 minutes, 390 to downtown. Crash at Ogden to the left side, outbound 31 minutes. On Stevenson, 43 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ryan, 26 minutes, 95 to downtown. Bishop 4, 23 minutes, 8094 to the merge. Northbound tri-state delays from the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. Traffic service of the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Use your power to cure and pedal with a purpose at Spin for Crohn's and Colitis Cures. Grab some friends for the high-energy indoor cycling event benefiting the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. Visit spin4.org to learn more. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Could be some severe storms crossing the area today, especially in the afternoon to the south. This morning we see some showers in Wheeling and in Waukegan this morning. Just light rain right now. I-89. 71 overnight with a chance of a thunderstorm and chance of showers and storms tomorrow as well. I-81. Currently 70. Next news at 7, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Retirement Zone Radio and the North Shore Capital Group, empowering you Saturday afternoons at 4.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. You married the wrong person, but it's okay, and I'll explain why.
Well, no, duh.
Well,
excuse me.
I don't know.
Did I say that?
I don't know if that no duh is going to hold up.
Just swinging by Lollapalooza. I'll be right over to pick up the kids.
This piece from Alain de Botton, author of The Course of Love in New York Times. Why you will marry the wrong person. The problem is that before marriage, we rarely delve into our complexities.
Right, you have to love yourself. Excuse me. You have to love yourself before you can love another.
It's the greatest love of all. Thank you, Whitney Houston. Whenever casual relationships threaten to reveal our flaws, we blame our partners and call it a day.
And you can't change them. They have to want to change themselves.
Boy, you are just really at the ready with the pithy aphorisms.
Similar to Rhetoric 101.
Yeah.
These are basic tools that you need to have in the shed.
Cliches. It's great.
Go on. I can't wait for you.
Our partners are no more self-aware. Naturally, we make a stab at trying to understand them. We visit the families. We look at their photos. We meet their college friends. All this contributes to a sense that we've done our homework. We haven't. Marriage ends up as a hopeful, generous, infinitely kind gamble taken by two people who don't know yet who they are or who the other might be, binding themselves to a future they cannot conceive of and have carefully avoided investigating. Sign me up. That sounds like fun.
Is this another edition of?
Time now for another reason why Dan Proft is single.
What matters in marriage is the feeling that two people are drawn to each other by an overwhelming instinct and know in their hearts that it's right. That's in the marriage of feeling. It's kind of like the romantic version, which is a problem.
This is kind of uncomfortable.
You know my position on romance.
Oh, yeah.
I'm opposed to it.
Yes, you are. 100%.
Indeed, the more imprudent a marriage appears, the safer it can feel. Recklessness is taken as a counterweight to all the airs of reason, the catalyst of misery that accountants demand. The prestige of instinct is the traumatized reaction against too many centuries of unreasonable reason.
Well, why do people get married? Let's break this down. Because some women are getting older and they want to make sure they can have kids.
There's that. There's perhaps a loneliness catalyst. Mm-hmm.
Perhaps a feeling of wanting to be on a team.
We marry to make a nice feeling permanent. We imagine that marriage will help us to bottle the joy we felt when the thought of proposing first came to us.
Do you know that love is patient and love is kind?
I've heard that. Thank you.
How many marriages have you been to that you know it is not going to work
How many
out?
weddings?
I mean, how many weddings have you been to where you know when they're walking down the aisle, that's not going to work? And you know when they say, if anyone thinks these two should not be married, speak
I always
now.
object.
Oh.
So do you think you married the wrong person? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. There's a kicker here, and the kicker is the good news is it doesn't matter if we married the wrong person, says Alain Bouton.
Is she friends with Macron?
We mustn't abandon him or her, Amy.
I'm not the one.
Only the founding romantic idea upon which the Western understanding of marriage has been based the last 250 years, that a perfect being exists who can meet all our needs and satisfy our every yearning. We need to swap the romantic view for a tragic, and at points comedic, awareness that every human will frustrate, annoy, anger, madden, and disappoint us, and we will do the same to them. Yeah.
Dan.
The philosophy of pessimism, of which I am an adherent, offers a solution to a lot of distress and agitation around marriage. The failure of one particular partner to save us from our grief and melancholy is not an argument against that person, and no sign that a union deserves to fail or be upgraded. The person who is best suited to us is not the person who shares our every taste, but the person who can negotiate differences in taste intelligently. Rather than some notional idea of perfect complementarity, it is the capacity to tolerate differences with generosity that is the true marker of the not overly wrong person. Compatibility is an achievement of love. It must not be its precondition. Romanticism has been unhelpful to us. You need a little pessimism in your relationship, and it sets everything right.
This brought to you by, on a very special Dan and Amy. Taking your calls, 312-642-5600.
You married the wrong person. I just explained why. Because you were tethered to this silly-hearted view of marriage. Amy. But
don't give up, Dan, when it
right.
doesn't work out.
That's right.
Sometimes you don't have a choice. Sometimes they just leave.
Okay. Greg and Schaumburg.
Okay, this topic I know.
Uh-oh.
And your article. No, I really do. It's like a morning promo code, Amy. But anyway. All right, here's what your story, the article that you have just quoted, misses, and this is the absolute key. That relationships by design are never going to meet each other's needs while we're on Earth. And difficulties will come. And God gives us those difficulties to grow us. And it's the difficulties when they are, in fact, irresolvable. That if there is an irretrievable bond between those, or, unbreakable bond between those individuals, and they put their trust in Christ in order to resolve it, you ultimately do see the wisdom of why God put you together in the first place.
Did you write your own vows, Greg?
Yes.
I bet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember what you
By the way,
said?
what you just said, this is a secular version of what you just said. It doesn't,
I know it is.
But you're right. You're right about that. Yes.
Do you remember the vows that you
That's
took?
the reason why it's flawed, Dan.
Yeah, I hear you. I agree.
Greg, do you remember any part of your vows?
Did you say love is patient and love is kind? Please tell me you didn't.
No, I have them actually memorized, but I won't give you the verbatim.
Greg, no. Here's what I want you. Greg,
let's let this out. Let's
think of me as your betrothed, and I want you to.
No, I can't do that.
I want you to propose. I want you to propose to me all over again, like it's our first date.
No.
Yeah. We're on a
Greg.
windswept plain, Greg. You're on bended knee, and you say to me.
I said in a Catholic mass, looking at my wife, essentially the following points. It was in Cincinnati. We were on our way to Chicago, and I said, we've been given the gift of many opportunities in life, but there will come difficulties, and the key will be, if we are able to resolve them, always being dedicated to Christ. That's essentially what I said.
Oh, that's lovely.
And when did you get divorced?
19 years later.
Well,
thanks for the call, Greg.
you're a good man,
Appreciate
Greg.
it.
Don't let one woman define you. Jeez,
I think
Dan,
it
what
was.
the heck are we doing?
I think
here?
it was still a little raw for Greg.
I
We know Greg for a long time.
I know,
Come on.
but you know what? I can tell in the emails he sent. It's still very personal for him.
Well, he's a God-fearing man.
I know. Gosh, let's see who's on line 2.
I'm a jackass. That's right.
Goodness.
Come on.
Well, I don't want to. I mean, Greg, you're in our prayers.
Get over it already. Bruce in Bloomingdale.
Good morning, guys. Dan, the thought of you dying miserable, old, and alone, surrounded by cats, bothers me on a fairly superficial level. But
And a full complement of 7 irons from various sets of clubs.
Love, I've discovered in 58 years on this planet, and now on to what I like to call my final wife, after a very expensive practice wife. That love is when your own happiness is intrinsically bound up with the happiness of another. And when you realize that, you know that in spite of all the crap that goes on from day to day and the fact that you're going to tick each other off at times, you're not going to be happy if that other person isn't happy, and you just can't be happy by yourself.
That's sickening.
Simple as I can put it.
That is just a sickening philosophy on life.
No,
I
that
can't
is a
abide
beautiful thing.
All right, thanks
Have
for
a
the
great day,
thanks
guys.
for the call.
He has
Bruce.
something
Appreciate
unique and genuine. Good for him.
To be other regarding like that. Oh.
No, that your happiness is it's not predicated on the other person's happiness. It's tied to it in a more intrinsic manner. Don't you see?
Yes, thank you for repeating what he just said back to me. That's very helpful.
I did women speak.
Kent and Aurora.
Yeah, 12 years ago, I thought I married the right woman, and hi, Helen. But over the last couple months, listening to an internet, celebrity, I've come to realize that I didn't, because I am not married to Jordan Peterson.
You should have married Jordan Peterson. Yeah.
If I would have married Jordan Peterson, everything would be awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Ken. By the boards,
Wow.
Here's something else, though, too. It's key. It's summer wedding season, don't you know? Is it? Sort of still. Yeah.
A lot of weddings in September, October.
Yeah, it is to the Wall Street Journal,
Going
at
to
least.
one in November.
You know, it's in big demand for weddings this season.
What?
Star Wars. Star Wars figures. I mean, not the actual figurines. I mean, people coming to your wedding as Darth Vader.
See, that's just so weird.
The 500.
I mean, what are we at Comic-Con?
The 501st Legion is a group of more than 13,000 fans in about 60 countries that often dress as bad guys, including stormtroopers, Imperial gunners, and Darth Vader himself. Now that's some wedding music right there. That's what it should be.
This is so goofy.
The members, who are divided into more than 100 regional groups known as garrisons, create their own props and costumes in exact detail and service local events at no fee.
What?
That'll spice up your wedding.
I had a Herky the Hawkeye come once. That was fun.
Oh, that worked out.
We played the fight song and everyone cheered, and it was amazing.
That was at your first wedding?
No, at a friend's wedding.
Oh.
Herky came in, and I was all,
That was
see the picture. It's on Twitter.
Who did you have any
relations with Herky? No.
No, I wasn't going to ask that. I don't know why you went there. That's not what I was going to ask. Did you have any any novelties at your practice wedding with your practice husband?
With the first guy? No, I didn't. Nothing. Nothing out of the ordinary. Very straight-laced. I let the bridesmaids wear whatever they want. Just wear black.
Well, if you do it again, just keep the 501st Legion in mind.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
I'm Bob Agnew, and for Lou Dobbs. President Trump's economic policies may be luring companies back from overseas. China targets farm products for tariffs. Those stories next.
I needed new blinds. I knew I could save a ton of money if I put them in myself, but I was nervous about measuring right and then installing them. That's why I went to Blinds.com. I'd heard their ads on the radio, how they're the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. But I still had to install them. So I called in my design consultant, Carla. She talked me through it all, from picking the right blinds to installing them. Plus, the online design consultation was free. Samples were free. Shipping was free. My home looks perfect.
With over 20 years in business and over 20 million blinds sold, Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Need some inspiration? Go to Blinds.com to see tons of customer photos. And right now, you save up to 35%, plus take an additional 5% off site-wide when you use promo code SHUTTERS. That's 35% plus take an additional 5% off site-wide at Blinds.com. Blinds.com, promo code SHUTTERS. Rules and restrictions apply.
President Trump has been on the campaign trail saying his economic policies are luring companies back to the United States, and a Reuters report is backing him up. The news service says some companies eyeing lower tax policies are considering returning to America now that the business climate is more favorable. China has produced a list of U.S. farm products it will slap with retaliatory tariffs if the U.S. goes ahead with its proposed duties on Chinese goods. China says it will target coffee, honey, and vegetables, products from farm states which supported the president in 2016. Ahead this week, the Federal Reserve will release consumer credit data for June, and the Walt Disney Company outlines its quarterly financials tomorrow. Please join us for Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning on this show. Long-form interviews are Against the Current series. My 60 Seconds of Sanity commentaries, podcast of our Illinois Rising program covering state policy and politics, which airs Sundays at 3 p.m. on these
I hope
airwaves.
you're going to, I'm sorry for interrupting. I hope you're going to put the last segment we just did on Upstream.
I think I should.
Ideas.com.
I try to provide all of my relationship counseling sessions online for people to access. Also as reference material. Yeah. You don't have to listen to it right away, but you know it's there in case you stumble in your relationship.
And you think that you found the right one, but you
want
to
consult. You definitely want to run that by me.
Yeah.
Before you take the plunge.
Love is patient. Love is kind.
Yeah. And I can help you write your own vows, too. We'll workshop those together. That's part of what we do at upstream-ideas.com. And then don't forget our sister site, defendhomeowners.com. Free property tax reports on your home, as well as updated property tax info in your community and home sales 2018 first half of this year, home sales info, your community too. See what property taxes are doing home sales in your neighborhood and community. All the home sales, property tax info at defendhomeowners.com. Everything else at upstream-ideas.com.
My name is Lauren Sullivan, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 9 years ago, and I was severely disabled. And about 6 years ago, my mother had found Balance of Nature, so we decided to give it a try because at that point, nothing was helping. I was skeptical at first, but over time I realized I had more energy levels. I was sleeping better, which was huge, and my hair looked better, my skin looked better, my nails looked better, and then I was able to weed off some of those medications. And I know, had I not found Balance of Nature, I would not be living the quality of life that I am now.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
You've heard us say if your roof is needy,
Call Crumweedy.
Also, if your gutters, siding, windows, or entry door is needy,
Call Crumweedy.
What's that all about?
This is Mark Olson
and Greg Olson, the boys from Crumweedy.
We created a special deal just for you. Replace your roof and receive free gutters. Or replace the siding or windows on your home and receive a free entry door.
We'll do a great job, and you'll get the Crumweedy promise of installation that is up to manufacturer specifications, so your warranty is intact.
And get free gutters or an entry door as a thank you. Some restrictions apply, and this special won't last long.
We fix roof, siding, and window problems. We're here. We're a third-generation family business that was built on the same conservative values as you. If your home is needy,
call Crumweedy.
630-595-8020. 630-595-8020.
Get all the info at myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
The following is not an actor, but a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
It's probably been about 10 years ago. I had quite a few credit cards. The interest on the cards was really high. I was making the minimum payments, but barely. And it was just getting to be too much, so I called Trinity.
If you're in debt and you need help, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976 to talk to a certified counselor.
They met with me, and they were able to get all of my credit cards in one lower payment.
Trinity will consolidate your accounts into one easy-to-manage monthly payment, put a stop to late fees and over-limit charges, reduce your interest, and possibly improve your credit score. You'll save thousands.
They did help me learn how to manage my money. Now, we have a house, and we're doing a lot better.
If your debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Holly, and I am debt-free for keeps.
1-800-990-6976.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours right into your basement. This is Gus from Chicagoland Waterproofing. My mission is to identify why your home is taking on water and fix it. I want you to sleep at night during a rainstorm and not worry about your basement filling up with water, like our client Kim from Mount Prospect.
We had chronic basement flooding and no one could figure out why. During a huge storm, water was pouring in through the window wells of our finished basement and we had to bail out 6 inches of water. We got a bunch of estimates, but Gus's was the most reasonable, plus he knew exactly what the problem was. He put in a full basement drain tile system and an additional sub pump with a backup battery. Chicagoland Waterproofing gave us peace of mind. I like to say, in Gus we trust.
From simple sump pumps to complex storm drainage and crack foundation solutions, Chicagoland Waterproofing's work comes with a lifetime warranty. Plus, a fully licensed plumber is always on staff. Request your estimate today at ChicagolandWaterproofingPros.com or call 847-296-3500.
If you're paying too much for your health insurance, listen carefully. Due to recent changes in the law, you could be overpaying $500 or more per month on your health care. There are new, more affordable health care options with better coverage. These plans are exempt from the Affordable Care Act and now open to everyone. Health care options with better benefits costing 30 to 60% less than Obamacare plans and giving you the freedom to see almost any doctor or hospital in the country. Forbes calls this the health care plan that is saving families $20,000 a year. And over 1 million Americans have already taken taking advantage of this game-changing healthcare program. Call 800-239-7174 now to find out how much you'll save. Employers, you too can save 50% or more on group medical insurance with health sharing. Our licensed advisors can take away all the stress of finding the right plan for your needs and budget. Best of all, our service is free. This one call could be the best decision you make this year, so don't delay. Call now to see how much you can save. For your free quote, call 800-239-7174. That's 800-239-7174. 800-239-7174.
AM 560. The Answer.
Very sad news over the weekend. Did you hear who passed away? Mrs. Garrett.
A woman who practically raised me.
You remember?
Now the world don't move to
No.
just one drum.
That's not. No, stop. That's
No,
not
she was
Mrs.
on
That's not Mrs. Garrett. That's Miss Garrett's signature show.
Well, she did Different Strokes first, and then they did the spin-off Facts of Life.
This is the signature show.
Oh, okay.
You take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have the facts of life. The facts of life. There's a time you gotta grow and show you're growing. Now you know about the facts of life. The facts of life. When the world desert seems to be living up to your dreams, and suddenly you're finding out the facts of life are all about you.
She was 92.
Yeah, she was.
You were-
Charlotte Ray.
Let me guess. You identified
as
Joe.
Yes, exactly. Not the
So
blonde.
tomboy.
The tomboy.
I
Totally.
identify as Blair.
Well, what about Tootie?
I like Tootie too.
I like Tootie too. They're
Didn't-
bringing it back.
Did
by
not
the way.
like Natalie.
Yeah, she was evil. Coming up on
Evil?
Chicago this morning.
Evil.
Well, there was one segment.
All right, just
wait,
Mike
wait.
Scott, take it
Here,
away, please.
Bye-bye.
7 arrested at Lollapalooza.
It's up to 98 people dead after the earth quaked on an Indonesian island. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That was the sound of the panic when buildings started to shake, then crumble. Rescuers still trying to reach all the devastated areas. Fox's Simon Owen monitoring live from London.
Dave, Indonesia's disaster mitigation agency says some parts of Lombok have suffered massive destruction, with some districts seeing more than half of homes either destroyed or severely damaged. The island is a picturesque, popular tourist destination. Mark Ganbawalba, a Dutch visitor, was in a restaurant bathroom.
I felt like it was like a truck passing by, but then it got really heavy, and also, the noise was crazy. So I thought, okay, this is bad, this is an earthquake. So I started running.
He was injured in a stampede as people ran to get outside. Dave?
Simon, wildfires keep scorching California. One near Redding is now blamed for 7 deaths and has burned down more than 1,000 homes. South of there, the twin fires in Mendocino and Lake counties have now charred nearly 400 square miles. President Trump taking heat from critics over his tweet about the 2016 Trump Tower meeting involving his son Don Jr. and a Russian lawyer. The president wrote it was a meeting to get info on an opponent that went nowhere. It's legal, and he did not know about it. Last year, he put out a statement that the meeting was about adoption. Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff says the president misled the country, telling CBS,
as long as the Russians interfere on Donald Trump's side in the midterms, Vladimir Putin can count on the president to never call him out.
Charlotte Ray has died. You might remember her, though, by a different name.
Mr. Garrett, where did Kimberly and Willis go? I don't know, but I can sure tell you where Arnold went.
Ray played Mrs. Garrett on Different Strokes, and then a spin-off,
Take the good, you take the bad.
Facts of Life. Ray also acted on Broadway and in movies. She was 92 and had battled bone and pancreatic cancers. A French chef considered a culinary master has died. Joel Robuchon was 73, had restaurants from Las Vegas to Tokyo. This is Fox News. Fair and balanced.
Cloudy skies. We've had some light rain showers this morning. 72 degrees at 7:02 on WIND Chicago. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police are investigating a violent weekend. As many as 60 were shot and injured, 10 killed from Friday through Sunday evening. Chicago Chief of Patrol Fred Waller discussed what investigators know so far about the shootings.
We know that some of these incidents were targeted and are related to gang conflicts in those areas. CPD detectives are working around the clock to investigate the incidents.
This follows a recent police report showing what police say is a 10% decrease in shootings during the month of July. A leader at the Willow Creek Community Church is stepping down. Lead teaching pastor Steve Carter says he can no longer serve the megachurch in South Barrington with integrity. This follows the resignation of founder Bill Hybels, who has recently been accused of sexually harassing former church employees. Carter says he was horrified by the allegations and not happy with the way the church first handled reports. Lollapalooza is over. Chicago police say 7 were arrested, 120 others taken to nearby hospitals over the music festival in Grant Park. Many of those who needed medical treatment were simply overcome by the 90-plus degree heat. Local Catholic priest is back in Chicago after surviving a plane crash. Esquiel Sanchez was welcomed back home by a large group of parishioners over the weekend. Sanchez serves as rector of the Shrine of Our Lady of Guadalupe in Des Plaines. Well, it was rough swimming in Lake Michigan over the weekend. The high waves and rip currents claimed 2 lives. 3 others were hospitalized. People formed human chains to pull several out of the water near Grand Haven. Grand Haven City Beach and the pier at Grand Haven State Park were closed yesterday afternoon after the rescues. Padres pull away with 5 runs late. They pound the Cubs 10-6 at Wrigley Field. After striking out in his first 4 at-bats, Daniel Palka drilled the go-ahead 2-run home run in the 9th inning. White Sox over the Rays in St. Pete, 8-7. That is a 3-game sweep. The news service of the Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports. Coaches, students, and administrators visit PCADevZone.org. 7:04, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity explains how the mainstream media works.
The media, what they do is they fixate and obsess literally every single day and on one particular issue, and it's like they're one voice in unison in their bubble, and they just hyperventilate. Hysteria abounds, thinking this is the end of Donald Trump. And guess what? It's not the end of Donald Trump again.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joel Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event. And now, while selection is best, it's the best time to buy. With amazing offers across a full lineup of Ford vehicles, now is the time to make summer go right with Ford, America's best-selling brand. Stop by a local Ford store or shop online at buyfordnow.com, because there is no better time than right now to get behind the wheel of a new Ford during the Ford Summer Sales Event. The Ford Summer Sales Event is here. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 60 months plus $1,000 bonus cash on the 2018 EcoSport. Best-selling claim based on 2017 calendar year sales. Not all buyers will qualify for Ford credit financing. 60 months at $1,667 per month for $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. For all offers, take new retail delivery from an authorized Ford dealer stock by 8/31/18. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for qualifications and details.
$7:06 on AM 560, and that means it's time for a dry basement and a healthy home. And time to call Permaseal, 800-421-SEAL. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. The outbound Kennedy is extremely heavy this morning with delays from Fullerton to O'Hare. It's an hour and 5 minutes downtown to the airport, so just 15 minutes to get to Montrose. 190 has big delays, especially westbound from the Kennedy, the terminal area. The inbound Kennedy, now 40 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 22 from Montrose, 18 of the Express. The Edens has eastbound spur delays starting at Waukegan Road, and it's 23 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 22. Mount Eisenhower, 49 minutes, 390 to downtown, 36 from Manheim, outbound 36 to 390. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to the drive, outbound 38. Ryan, 28 minutes, 95 to downtown. Tri-State heavy northbound, the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis and Jam from the Reagan Toy to Balmoral. Northbound Veterans Memorial delays are from Finley to North Avenue, Northwest Indiana's fine. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center with meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, a morning shower in spots, otherwise warm with sun and clouds. Severe thunderstorm late this afternoon, which could bring flooding downpours, large hail, and damaging wind gusts. High today, 89. Severe evening thunderstorm, otherwise tonight cloudy, low 71. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
70 at O'Hare. We've had light rain shower across the northern suburbs. 75 along the lakefront. Next news at 7:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Excuse me. This is an interesting story of the weekend. I don't know if you saw it. A Cambridge math professor who is one of 4 joint winners of the Fields Medal, which is like the Nobel Prize in math, had it stolen from him about a half hour after it was awarded to him. This happened in Rio de Janeiro, which, as you recall, was selected over Chicago for the 2016 Olympics because of safety concerns here. And those safety concerns appear to be well-founded after yet another weekend of carnage on Chicago streets. 63 shot, 10 murdered.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers are staggering. It is one of the worst weekends we've ever had here in the city.
There's such a genocide in our community that is driving me absolutely bonkers. I don't want to do any marches. I just want people to cooperate and let kids live.
So after 63 shot, 10 dead, the blame game has begun. Was it the weather? What is it?
What I promise you is that we won't be defeated. I mean, I promise this city that we won't be defeated. We won't be overrun.
That's Police Chief Fred Waller, who came out and spoke with the media. Of course, every politician was at Stroger Hospital because Sunday morning yesterday, it was a bit of a mess. People waiting to find out if their loved ones were dead or alive.
We have a challenge, and it requires all of us, not just our police officers.
That's the wrong soundbite. But people were out there wondering what was going on with their loved ones. So Congressman Danny Davis, others, Alderman Walter Burnett stopped by.
We still don't do enough to control the flow of guns, especially automatic weapons.
So automatically they're blaming guns and not the people who have the guns.
So let's see. We've tried an anti-police consent decree. We've tried a ban on handgun ownership in this city. Let's see. We've tried more money for schools. We've tried more money for public housing. We've tried enterprise zones and
midnight basketball. We've tried
subsidies for businesses to locate in particular areas. There's any number of after-school programs and youth at risk-oriented programs.
Well, Mayor Emanuel's suggesting we need more jobs. That would have stopped the violence this weekend.
On Wednesday, we announced a number of businesses that were going to be part of the Neighborhood Opportunity Fund that create the most important part of our neighborhood economy. But we together have to work as a city. We have a challenge, and it requires all of us, not just our police officers.
Okay, what can we do? I'm willing to help. What does he need?
Please. If it was 10 dead and 63 shot in one place at one time, what would we be talking about? What would the coverage be? But because it was 10 murdered and 63 shot in a few neighborhoods over 72 hours, we kind of go through the same motions with everybody reciting the words that have become all too familiar. And those in charge are not held accountable. The belief is that somehow Tiny Dancer and the other potentates in the city are on your side of the skirmish line. The media and the politicians, they're with you. Is that the way you feel? They're on your side of the skirmish line fighting out against the violence? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line.
During a 2.5-hour period, 25 were shot in 5 multiple injury shootings, and a paramedic, Dan, described it as a war zone out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's been described as a
yeah.
war zone. I mean, didn't we just have a movie called Chirac that Spike Lee did?
Awful. Most of the shootings happened in the 6th, 10th, and 11th district, and in the 6th district, officers responding to a shooting in the 10th, and once they left that block party, 8 were shot at the block party in Lawndale.
Mm-hmm.
They said as if they were waiting for police to leave, and that's when 17-year-old girl shot in the face, killed. An 11-year-old shot. He's going to live.
So you've run the list of the things that we've tried and the people who have tried them. So what do you think? Should be done, or should we just kind of, pay our respects and say this is bad and then move on and move away? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. Arlene on the northwest side.
Hey, good morning. Danny Davis should have stopped before he said the word guns. We do not do enough. What is he doing? I had a friend when I was working, and she happened to live in that neighborhood, and she said, boy, Arlene, I wish I could go home and like you, it's quiet out there. She said, when I go home, all I hear is arguing, fighting, police cars, fire department coming. I can't get any sleep. I said, well, why don't you move? She said, no, my family is there. And I said, well, what we do here, we try to work in our neighborhood and make things better. We help each other. And that's not, if Danny Davis would go, I think we should all go to George Soros, because I think he is actually part of this deal, the media, making these kids heroes that shoot other, and it's the good kids that die. It's not, well, for the most part, gang members, they do when they aim right. They will get each other. But it's the culture. It's what's going on there. And I saw one time a report, two apartments, one over the other, that the second story was clean as a whistle. The first floor, they were showing how the poor kids are laying on urine-soaked mattresses. No one's taking care. Well, that could be the answer. Hey, let's pay these people, really, to go out and help each other and show them there's a different way.
Okay, thanks for the call, Arlene. What about the Illinois oligarchs? What about the people in charge? In this discussion, I rarely hear the names Madigan and Cullerton and Burke and others invoked. You hear Tiny Dancer because he's the mayor. Not that anybody's really serious about it, holding him accountable. I mean, I don't really buy it that people are serious about it in Chicago. I mean, where the real weight is. I hear, a lot of people, they don't like him for all kinds of obvious reasons, but I don't hear a lot of people talking seriously about doing anything about it. I mean, the kind of, land of misfit toys collection of people running against him notwithstanding. What about the other oligarchs, the robber barons? I say those who have conferred unto themselves generational wealth by producing generational death. And by the way, that goes for all of the accomplices who continue to prop them up and keep them in power. So all of you dyed-in-the-wool Illinois Democrats, tell me your position on the ongoing carnage in Chicago. 100 years of your rule. Madigan, Cullerton, Tiny Dancer, Daley before him. And, go down the list of Chicago mayors, obviously. Ed Burke, the venerated Ed Burke in Chicago, where all the power resides and all the money's been made. Generational wealth for generational death. How do you square that with your social justice agenda? How do you square that with your concern for minorities? Your virtue signaling concern. Those Wrigleyville goofs. I'm not talking about the marchers. I'm talking about the Cubs fans. That's it. We're with you in spirit there. Protest marchers? Of course, because you're a lakefront liberal who is going to the Cubs game, and so you'll tip your cap to the protesters, and they'll dissipate and go back to their neighborhoods, and you'll get on with your life, and you'll continue to vote for the same people and maintain the same power structure and pretend that you're not complicit, that you're not a supporter of the robber barons, the oligarchs, the barbarians, that you're not a proponent of racist policies in the most segregated city and violent city in the country. And we're going to ask Greg Livingston at the bottom of the 7 o'clock hour, when do we have the protest march against white liberals and the Chicago Democrat power structure? Because I'll be at that march. When do we push that conversation? And when do you push it on your neighbors, the Champagne socialists that you live around in Lakeview, Amy, and that all of you know at some level within your social circles?
They're not voting for Mayor Emanuel. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Congratulations. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Who
Big
are they
deal.
gonna vote for?
I don't care. They're going to vote for some other hack. It's an extension of the same. And what are they going to do for state legislative candidates? And what are they going to do statewide? Same power structure.
Well, we rarely have anybody even running against Cullerton and
Yeah, that's a real profound
Ed
defense
Williams.
of their dyed-in-the-wool support for the established power structure that is responsible for the carnage. It's their school system. It's their housing projects. These families and neighborhoods are wholly owned subsidiaries of the government. And that's what the Democrats like. But they don't like the outcomes. Well, if you support the inputs, you're responsible for the outputs.
here's a text message. Declare war on the gangs and send in the military to eliminate them like we would do to ISIS if they set up shop in Chicago.
It's idiotic and it's tired. That's the conservative, not even conservative because I'm a conservative. That's like sort of the other side to the ban guns, send in the military, send in the National Guard. No, let's not. It's not the military's fault. It's not the National Guard's problem. This is a domestic policing problem. This is a local problem. Edward in Homer Glen.
Hi. Hey, I listen to your show every day, guys. Hey, I was wondering, who pays for all the costs, all the gunshot wounds, the hospital bills on this, the millions of dollars that are spent on this?
Taxpayers. Thanks for the call, Edward. It's called the Medicaid program. Art at Midway.
Yeah, I think what needs to happen is all 50 wards, we all need to go in there and block the aldermen from actually leaving their office until they get their work done.
Okay. Thanks for the call, Art. I don't know about. I like the instinct to lock them up, but I don't know about what work they're actually conducting in the office or how that we'll know when they've got it done. But I understand the frustration. John in Lincolnwood.
Good morning. I had to call in because, you know what, the only way this is going to change, and Dan, you know this as Amy and all of us do, is these people have to be voted out. I don't know how, and I don't know if they need to look in the mirror instead of just blaming guns. They don't ever blame themselves. I never heard Rahm or Danny Davis or Burke or any of these guys ever blame themselves for any kind of policies that they put in, that all these kids and adults and whoever is getting shot. This is their fault.
Take it to the alley. Thanks for the call, John. Take it to the alley. Values. I mean, they like just spit out words, right?
Yeah.
Values. Oh, thanks. Yeah. Bill on the southwest side.
Yes, first it starts at home. And then all these priests and so-called reverends, they should emphasize this. And a protest march should be in their neighborhoods. It starts at home. Curfew means curfew. They should be in a house and be raised properly, not by grandmothers. That's where it starts. Thank you for letting me voice my opinion.
Thanks for the call, Bill. There's no question it starts with family. And it also, looking at these gangbangers that we don't care about when they kill each other, and then others getting caught in the crossfire, and then we, pay our respects, as I said, give the pro forma responses. But I mean, these kids these kids didn't come out of the womb as gangbangers.
No.
So
Learned behavior.
So what's going on, right? And yes, you can't legislate a loving two-parent family, but you can do more with respect to opportunity. You can do more with respect to the ready access to things like quality schooling that many of these kids in many of these neighborhoods do not have. And what have we done in furtherance of those things that we can do? I understand there are limits to what can be done from the outside, but there are things that can be done, and we haven't done those things. We haven't even tried them. The one thing that we haven't tried in Chicago and Illinois, we've tried everything. Everything other than, for lack of a better description, conservative reform policies. Everything other than pro-family, individual accountability policies. That's the one thing we resist at every turn. Okay. Mark in Plainfield.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. First, I'd like to wish both you and the listening audience happy Atomic Bomb Day. Should be a federal holiday. As far as this issue goes, how do you just said conservative reform policies? How do you enforce that? I think you need a section of military or martial law. It just go in there and sweep these people up, whether it's local police or National Guard or whatever. But you need a force stronger than the gangbangers, and a force willing to use it.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Mark. You have civilian political authority that doesn't back the police. So we'll have a National Guard sweep, and then things will go back to the way they were before, and what changes? You're just rinsing and repeating the same generational death march, aren't you? It's just easy salute, just kind of easiness. Just wipe them out. Just round them up. Nonsense. It's nonsense. It's idiotic. Chip in St. Charles.
I really enjoyed Alderman Burnett talking about the proliferation of guns, and he doesn't hold the people doing the shooting accountable for anything. And if you're not gonna do that, then everything you say is a joke. And the other thing is 3D printed guns are now the thing, and the gun proliferation isn't going to matter anyway, because whenever you need a gun, you just print one out that afternoon and you're ready to go. What are they going to do about that?
Thanks for the call, Chip.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule. Thousands of doctors, health specialists, and professionals recommend Balance of Nature as a way of improving their health. Listen to a few unsolicited success stories from doctors that use Balance of Nature as well.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first month's order and ship it to you free. Call 800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs and get rid of the pain. You don't need to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat that. You do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst from an accident or pain that just develops. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you get it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects. You can get your life back. Drugs mask the pain. Find the source and fix it. Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain. You can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info at mypainchicago.com.
Being successful in business means overcoming enormous obstacles to serve your customers and community. AM 560, The Answer, wants to shine a spotlight on businesses that are thriving. We want to celebrate their success by finding out what makes these businesses unique, successful, and what we can learn from them. We want to know how you built it. Presented by Chicagoland Waterproofing. To tell us how you built it, go to 560theanswer.com/built. That's 560theanswer.com/BUILT. Sponsored by Signature Bank and Ozinga.
Your local 1-hour heating and air conditioning knows how miserable it feels when your AC goes out. You want it fixed fast, fixed right, and get a fast quote. Unlike some companies, we don't give you a quote until we actually see what the problem is. Then we'll give you our straightforward price and always stand by our work. Right now, get savings on any AC repair. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Live from Chicago, it's Saturday Night Live, The Experience. For the first time ever, get an inside look at the making of SNL. Over 500 artifacts direct from the show. Be a part of Wayne's World, Weekend Update, and so much more. Experience all it takes to put the show together. Now at the Museum of Broadcast Communications at 360 North State Street in Chicago. For tickets, visit museum.tv.
Warning, sharks sighted in water.
There are a lot of warnings you could miss on your own, especially when it comes to your identity and devices. Good thing new LifeLock includes Norton Security for more detection and more protection. No one can prevent all identity theft or cybercrime or monitor all transactions at all businesses. But LifeLock looks out for threats to your identity, and Norton protects against online threats. Join now and get 10% off your first year plus a $25 Amazon gift card with annual enrollment. Just go to lifelock.com and enter promo code SMART. Terms apply.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Kevin Bastuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. If you get the feeling your deposits don't matter to your bank, then maybe you're not with the right bank. At Signature Bank, your deposits matter to us as much as your business loans. Signature provides unmatched banking expertise, custom financial solutions, and the industry's best technology to closely held Chicagoland businesses. Whether your business is looking for a deposit relationship or needs a ready source for financing, Signature Bank is the right bank for you. Call us today to see how Signature Bank can help your business grow and thrive.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Where will Shutdown Theater next appear? We'll ask Reverend Greg Livingston, the organizer of the Lakeshore Drive shutdown at 7:37.
And he doesn't have a cell phone, but he could still deliver. Meet the Amish Uber driver. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Cloudy skies. We've had rain showers across the area this morning. 70 degrees at 7:31. President Trump admits that his son, Donald Trump Jr., did meet with a Russian attorney to try and get damaging information about Hillary Clinton during the 2016 campaign. The president tweeting yesterday that his son's meeting was to get information on an opponent and said it was done all the time in politics and, he says, went nowhere. Top Democrat in the House Intelligence Committee says there's plenty of evidence that the president colluded, in his words, with the Russians.
There's plenty of evidence of collusion or conspiracy in plain sight. Now, that's a different statement than saying that there's proof beyond a reasonable doubt of a criminal conspiracy.
That's Adam Schiff appearing on CBS's Face the Nation. The U.S. is about to reimpose its first sanctions against Iran since President Trump's decision to pull out of the Iran nuclear agreement. The death toll in Northern California's Carr fire is now up to 7. Pacific Gas and Electric says one of its crew members was killed near Redding doing repair work. More than 90 are dead in Indonesia after a strong earthquake. The magnitude 7.0 quake hit the island of Lombok. Disaster officials say hundreds more have been hurt. The search for a kidnapper leads to the rescue of nearly a dozen kids found living in filthy conditions in a makeshift New Mexico compound. Authorities confirm over the weekend that a tip about a Georgia man accused of abducting his infant son led deputies to a spot near the Colorado line. 11 children, ranging in age from 1 to 15, with 3 adult women believed to be the kids' mothers, were discovered inside. Chicago police continue investigating a violent weekend here. As many as 60 were shot and injured and 10 killed. Lawyers for the man accused of kidnapping a Chinese-born U of I scholar says they don't need all that much information from President Trump about that case. Brent Christensen's lawyers are telling a federal judge today hearing his case they only want confirmation as to whether the president actually spoke to Chinese leaders about the disappearance and death of Ying Zhang. Chicago sports, Padres pound the Cubs 10-6 at Wrigley Field. White Sox winners over the Rays in St. Pete, 8-7. The news, a service of Unbound.org. Right now, there are young people across the world facing a tough choice. Continue their dream of education or drop out to help their family put food on the table. You can help change their future in a single moment. See how far your support can go at Unbound.org. 7:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
I am a Trump supporter.
The Joe Walsh Show.
Now, I am a Trump supporter who will freely criticize the president when I think he's done wrong. And done wrong can be sending out a stupid tweet, raising taxes, or supporting amnesty. It can be anything. It's the issues to me. And when President Trump does something that does not advance those issues, I'll call him out on it.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Are your credit cards out of control? Owe more than $10,000? Are you paying one card and delaying payment on another? Here's what's really happening here. Your credit card companies are shaking your hand while stabbing you in the back. They want you overextended. Even worse, they hope you think you have to pay it all back. Credit card companies have finally been exposed. There are steps you can take to become debt-free, and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands of people just like you reduce more than $1 billion of debt. They're regulated by both federal and state agencies, A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and have over 25,000 5-star reviews across accredited review sites. Do not take out a consolidation loan. Do not declare bankruptcy. Settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Call now. 800-948-4144. 800-948-4144. 800-948-4144.
7:35. Check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. In Antioch, North Avenue is blocked between 83 and Lakewood, Antioch, due to a stalled train. Heavy delays on the eastbound Adams Tollway this morning from before Barrington Road to 53. Southbound 53 just a bit tight, Palatine Road to Kirchhoff. Tri-State delays northbound from Archer to Ogden and from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. Northbound Veterans Memorial, 75th to North Avenue, with southbound North Avenue to 22nd. Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 25. Kennedy, 41 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound an hour and 2 minutes. It's really heavy around O'Hare. Eisenhower, 46 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 49. Stevenson, 44 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Traffic service, Compassion International. Sponsoring a child with compassion, most effective way to end extreme child poverty. Release a child from poverty. Become a Compassion sponsor. Compassion.com/radio. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Could be some severe storms crossing the area this afternoon, otherwise a shower. Clouds and sun mixed, high 89. Currently 71. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by 1-800-4BLINDChicago.com. Call 773-447-5448 and get the sun out of your eyes.
You want more than just the headlines? Find out what's going on and what it means with me, Dennis Prager, this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy continuing our discussion on Chicago violence against the backdrop of the mayoral election in February and maybe to April. There's a runoff, as well as all the aldermanic elections. And then you've got, obviously, state legislative and statewide elections in November. These are all relevant. Policymakers are relevant. Who's in charge is relevant. 10 dead and 63 shot over the weekend. And the calls are very familiar. The quote-unquote solutions, and I do say that in quotation marks, very familiar, haven't borne out. And the protests will go on because sort of they've been encouraged through lack of prevention, I suppose. First with Flagger, the Flack for Rom, on the Dan Ryan, and then last week on Lakeshore Drive with Gregory Livingston, Reverend Gregory Livingston, who's the president and founder for the Coalition of a New Chicago, who suggested after the march that the arterial roads to O'Hare may be next on their hit list. For more on this topic, we're pleased to be joined by the aforesaid Reverend Greg Livingston. Greg, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Dan, Amy. Good morning to you guys.
Good morning. So how do you think the march fared in terms of what you hope to achieve?
Well, we knew the march would not be an actual anti-violence mechanism, but the purpose of it is to create leverage. You mentioned elected officials, the governmental officials, and even the candidates. You know, if you're going to run for those offices, you know, you should really speak honestly to the people about, you know, the direness of the situation. I think now it's 63 shot, 11 dead, right? Or somebody else died.
Okay.
I heard on the news this morning. And but we need to have a real open and frank talk about this with all of the, you know, we don't need crocodile tears. We don't need any of that. And I'm not saying that monetizing the solution is being the situation is the solution, but you got to spend some money in these areas. You know, can I give you real quick? I was suited up the other day, and you know, suit and tie. The little girl was with her mom. I was in the hood, and she was about 3 or 4 years old. The little girl looks at me and says, "Mommy, he's DCFS." Well, I won't lie. I was shocked when the young child said that. I said, "Look at her worldview already. How do you move this child from looking at a black man with a suit on as being DCFS to that it's okay to see a black man with a suit on?" So not into the blame game at all, Dan. Just saying that the situation is rough, man. It's ugly. It's ugly.
So at your march on Thursday, there was a lot of different groups that were present. I mean, I saw, you know, somebody say Puerto Rico make it a 51st state. I saw death sentence for Jason Van Dyke, and then no more Trump and Pence, get them out of office. Would you say that march was organized or was a little chaotic, or how would you describe it? I know, and I'm thankfully no one was arrested. There's no reports of any damage done to any building, so that's good. But how would you?
I did try to get arrested, but they wouldn't arrest me.
Yeah.
But I was
nobody gets arrested anymore.
Come on, right, man? I mean, it's so
well,
much
how did
fun.
you try and get arrested? Were you one of them who wanted to go back on a Lakeshore Drive?
No. We got to Wrigley Field. They had a steel barricade, and I told the officer, "If I step over this, will you arrest me?" And he said, "Please don't do it." I said, I'm going to step over. So I lifted up my leg and to step over it. And then one of the officers came and he grabbed me and he whispered in my ear, "Please don't do that because the marchers will get violent if we arrest you, you know." And he says, "And we really can't." So I said, "Oh, okay." And really, I didn't want, it was peaceful and I didn't want people to go off. But to answer your other question, it was organically organized. We had all kind of people out there. And it takes a certain kind of person to come to a protest march like that anyway, because I really feel you need unreasonable people for unreasonable situations. Individuals that say, you know what, we have to do something. They bring their agendas, that's fine, but we take their agendas and their interests and we try to shape them into something called a route, which is the route for the march. So, still to carry the message forward.
Well, to carry the message forward, Trump and Pence, I'm sorry, what do they have to do with anything? Especially to the exclusion of, yes, you had the Rahm resign chants, and I appreciate those. but Madigan and Cullerton and Burke and the Chicago Democrat power structure and all of the black politicians on the city council and in Congress and the state legislature, when is there going to be a bit of a reckoning for them? When are their names going to get called out? When are you going to march on up to well, I mean, you did the lakefront with Wrigleyville, but to the North Shore and all of the Champaign socialists and white liberals, who many of whom made millions of dollars with these the government takeover of black neighborhoods in the city of Chicago. When is the reckoning? When are those names going to be called out? When are they going to be held up for public effigy the way they should be, in my opinion?
Well, you make a great point. I've been trying to change the mindsets because a lot of the people that were with us, some of them had never been to that part of town before, right? They consider that to be traveling a long distance. And many of them never leave their neighborhood. So I had to kind of get this into their minds. I'm like, look, people travel from the South to Washington, D.C. for the 1963 march, and the travel is possible. I mean, this is a real practical issue, Dan. I'm being very honest with you. This is just one in a series of things we're trying to do. Like I said before, I've learned more from my failures than I have from not trying. One of the things that I've learned is that we have to keep hitting this in a strategic manner, and we are going to go after those that have a responsibility and make them accountable for what has to be done. But the real thing here is one of the real issues is that we have to keep the fire kindled. We have to keep it going because people who have been hurt over and over again, sometimes it's awfully hard for them to believe and have hope and that things can change when they've experienced it at a very, very low level in their lives.
When you say more money's got to be spent. Where? How? By whom?
I wish we could. What I would like to do is to have some kind of corporate governmental alliances where some of these old school buildings that were closed or buildings or factories, whatever the neighborhoods, are converted into something. And I'm really a big believer in this, into digital training centers. You know, this is the 21st century. Technology is normative to these kids and everything. And then by the same token, you're able to hire people out of the community into these places. And it is just, but it's no political will to do that. I talked to Ronald Antoram about that about 2 years ago. And so, you know, and I've learned from 2 years to now that we need some leverage and see it by the time election time comes around, we could possibly make those guys so radioactive that their own people won't want to deal with them. So, and this is something that, man, nobody wants to do this, but like a surgeon, we may have to cut, you know, in order to help our city.
Well, what's on the docket? What's your next plan? What are you going to shut down the Kennedy Expressway or a road into O'Hare, the I-90 there? What's your thoughts?
Well, we're still talking about it because that's a big logistical piece, right? So we're talking about it and trying to pull all the pieces together. But the biggest thing is we're interested in how they respond to us because, you know, they allowed the Dan Ryan Expressway, and that's federal, and to stop the ingress-egress of traffic at O'Hare, that's federal. So what's the difference? I want to see what they're going to say. What's the difference in the two?
Well, I don't know what the difference would be. I mean, they've
Right.
sort of conceded the point. What about the one of the things that you said? I saw one of the clips from the march about the police and about essentially like police de-escalation. And help me square the circle on, you want these neighborhoods that are shooting galleries right now to be safer. You want the law-abiding to be protected, which is obviously the majority of the residents in these neighborhoods, these violent neighborhoods. But you want some sort of police de-escalation. So what does that mean?
Sometimes in the hood, first of all, I'm pro-police. You know, take all the police out of Chicago and see what happens, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes in the hood, when I grew up in the hood, you know, I had a nephew get shot in the head, you know, all this kind of stuff, and things can get very, for lack of a better term, randy in the hood, man. And everybody is pressurized. You know, everybody is on edge. The cops, the residents. Someone was saying, you know, why would you run when you see a cop? I said, well, when you're a black kid, that's part of your training. You know, police run. Shoot, I grew up next to the Southside Irish. You know, they would run too. You know what I mean? So it's just part of being a kid and you doing things and mischievous and all that. But also in this age with the gunfire, the gunplay, and things like that. You know, there really has to be another kind of mindset because sometimes I question, you know, what the psychological tests are at the police academy. because they have a stressful job, man. And sometimes they can come awfully hard at you. And on the other side, you have these black men. I'm going to use black men on purpose who already, we have some issues. And in terms of, are you disrespecting me? Because, one of the big things is people wouldn't think that a black 15-year-old would stand up to a cop and eye him down with disrespect issues, man. But that's reality.
Yeah, but okay, but I'm sorry to interrupt, Greg, but here's the thing.
That's okay.
I get police have a higher duty to try to de-escalate and diffuse situations. I get that. And I understand what you're saying about being pro-police. And I've known you for a long time, so I believe that. You're a reasonable guy, a thoughtful guy, which is why I like you, even when I disagree with you. But here's the thing. What about responsibility to change that instruction that you're getting as a young black kid? There is no winning a confrontation with police. You are not going to come out of that better. Now, if the police mistreat you in some way, there are judicial remedies for that. Why not that being the approach and the education of young black men vis-a-vis the police? Because this antagonism with police doesn't serve the police interest, but it also doesn't serve young black men's interest either. So why not break that cycle?
Well, we want to break that cycle. That's why I mentioned the young girl saying, look, Mama, he's DCFS. We need to implement some new education models that can deal with the damage, the historical cultural damage that is in our neighborhood, that is in our community. So we need to implement these models. And that's what we're going to be talking about, repurposing these schools to a purpose that really hits at, some of the needs of the people there, training, but also to have some classes to really be able to unpack some things for people, to give them tools, critical thinking tools, right? And the like. So we need a new education model. So we have the bureaucracy of CPS, the idiocy of our mayor when it comes to education in challenged neighborhoods. And so, just like, again, it's hard to get to a 15-year-old when he's been thinking this way since he came into the world. I mean, it's just hard.
Try.
Yeah.
Well, no, we have to try. We are trying, but we have to implement some real structural changes in the education model that maybe what is good in Lincoln Park educationally cannot be the same model in Austin or in Lawndale or in Inglewood. And we have to really work on that. And I think that'll make a difference as well, changing that mindset.
What about the conversation in the direction of black politicians who want to, blame guns because they've got nothing else to say? They're tethered to that talking point. What about a conversation and education in the community about what government domination of our lives has generated in terms of family structure, in terms of the quality of K through 12 education at the local school level, in terms of housing? What about the whole kind of taking table scraps in exchange for freedom, effectively, in exchange for independence in these neighborhoods? What about that conversation? What about that tough conversation?
That requires us, Dan, to build a real organization that can affect, these 19, 20 wards or whatever, and to have some real impact in terms of how they receive their campaign money and things of that nature, and to shine a light into that darkness, because right now they're prospering in the darkness, and so we have to build a light that's powerful enough, in order to get them roaches out, man, and but I'm committed to it. The people I'm working with, some of my guys, Reverend Ackley and Reverend Hatch, and people like Eric Russell, we're committed to it. It's just not easy, and Dr. King started at 55 with Rosa Parks and Civil Rights and the Voting Rights Act didn't kick in until 10 years later. So, we're really trying to do some real, acute and chronic long-term planning, because we got to get this done. It's enough,
Well, I definitely encourage you to keep agitating, and at least you're somebody out there challenging the established power structure in this city. So good on you for that. He's Greg Livingston, Reverend Greg Livingston, president and founder of the Coalition for a New Chicago. Greg, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mastermind. I always appreciate you.
See you later.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Hey guys, Ken here from the Business Accelerator podcast, Today's Growth. If you had to choose a vehicle to take you up the rocky side of a mountain, would you choose a Ferrari or a Jeep? The Ferrari's faster, cooler, maybe even sexier, but if you have to get to the top, the Jeep's a better bet. I think we can agree getting to the top is not about the driver, it's the vehicle. Have you noticed people often pick their financial vehicle like they pick their cars? Washington Post shared that only 1 out of 4 people choose a job that uses their college degree. Why? Simple. Something more immediate, maybe cooler, maybe even sexier came along first. Shouldn't the main deciding factors for revenue generation be production or output? Should the cool factor have any weight in choosing someone's income? If getting to the top of the financial mountain is mission critical for you, why not add a few Jeeps to your garage? Could your household or business use an additional revenue model that makes it to the top every time? If so, you have to see the Jeeps lined up at incomestore.com. That's incomestore.com.
Hey, it seems like summer just got started, but it's not too soon to start thinking about fall, at least when it comes to your child's education. Registration for fall enrollment for grades 7 through 12 is happening now at St. John's Northwestern Military Academy, which is now providing young men and young ladies with an outstanding education and preparation for life. There's day boarding or full boarding, and it's not a place for juvenile delinquents. That's a bad rumor. These are people, well-rounded young men and women from all over the country and all over the world. St. John's Northwestern Military Academy immerses young men and women in a culture of leadership that inspires personal growth through a commitment to these factors: excellence in academics, spiritual and character development, athletics, and our military traditions, shaping minds since 1884. As a mom, I know sending your sons there, I sent my sons there for camp because St. John's resonates with the values that I want to see my boys grow up with. To learn more about fall enrollment or to schedule a visit or have any of your questions answered, just call this number, 1-800-SJ-CADET. That's 1-800-SJ-CADET, or visit their website, sjnma.org. That's sjnma.org.
Hi, Barry Sterner, founder of Townstone Financial. We've all heard what the big banks have been doing. Time to call Townstone. I guarantee you can have confidence when calling me at 312-896-2110 or going to townstone.com that our only interest is getting you the best refinance deal available and to make sure your home purchase closes on time and without headaches. Great news, we have several new home mortgage programs. The first is a jumbo mortgage program that only requires a 15% down payment without any mortgage insurance. The second is a bank statement program which allows business owners and self-employed borrowers to finally qualify for a mortgage even if they don't show much income on their tax returns. At a bankruptcy, short sale, or deed in lieu 12 months ago and want to purchase a new house? We have a program for you too. All programs have restrictions, so give me a call now at 312-896-2110. Remember, nobody values your home purchase business more than Townstone. I guarantee it. I own the company. That's 312-896-2110 or go to townstone.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639, equal housing lender.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity for Upstream-Ideas.com. Sarah Sanders refused to oblige CNN's Jim Acosta's demand to remove the enemy of the people moniker President Trump has bestowed upon the D.C. press corps. I guess the Secret Service protection Sanders now requires and the calls from that same press corps' fellow travelers to subject her to a lifetime of public harassment has Sanders not particularly interested in what Acosta thinks he deserves. Is the D.C. press corps a protector of the people? Is it a professional fourth estate acting as a check on the ruling class? Those descriptions don't seem to fit either, do they? Not all the members of the press corps are enemies to all of the people, but the great majority are devotees of every big government gambit launched since the New Deal. They cheer the economically illiterate agitprop of a millennial bartender and the communist virtue signaling of a backup quarterback. They want to force men into your daughter's locker room, Howard Zinn into her classroom, and religion out of her life. They call for our discourse to be elevated while welcoming a racist simp to the New York Times editorial board. They champion policies and policymakers who oppose free minds and interfere in free markets. Maybe the word to describe such people is not enemy, but I know it's not friend either.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
My husband's blood pressure has dropped 30 points. I've lost 8 pounds. He's lost about 20 pounds. His arthritis is gone. You guys have given me back my husband. I'd come home from work, and if he beat me home from work, he would be laying in the recliner, and I would feed him supper in his recliner and would be like really boring, pathetic old people watching TV while we ate dinner and then go to bed exhausted and wake up tired. I came home from work last night, and he was mowing the lawn. It's amazing. It's amazing. It's so amazing.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Check it out, GreatParkingLots.com.
Go to GreatParkingLots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Special early season discounts if you act now. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. GreatParkingLots.com.
On August 10th, get ready for a comedy that's off the leash.
Do you think I'm ridiculous throwing a party for my dog? I would say that bouncy house is over the top.
Or lonely strangers will discover that man's best friend,
no offense, but is your dog pregnant or just super fat?
Are the best matchmakers.
Dogs open their hearts to love and to be loved.
This dog has made us a family.
Dog Days, in theaters this Friday.
It's news, opinion, insight. It's AM 560, The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
It's deja vu for Iran. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Sanctions the U.S. eased under President Obama with the international Iran nuclear deal are about to be re-implemented by President Trump, who pulled the U.S. out of that agreement. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
The Trump administration has reimposed sanctions on Tehran with the aim of blocking the Iranian government from accessing U.S. dollars. Iran also faces renewed barriers to transacting in gold, precious metals, and other commodities. As part of the renewed sanctions, oil companies will have until November 4th to adjust to the returning U.S. ban on buying Iranian oil. Separately, President Trump has dangled the prospect of a summit with Iran as the country increasingly finds itself boxed in by U.S. economic pressure. Dave?
And John, President Trump's taking heat from critics over a tweet yesterday about the 2016 Trump Tower meeting when his son Don Jr. met with a Russian lawyer. The president again claimed he did not know about it, but also said it was legal. A meeting to get information on an opponent, but it went nowhere. Last year, the president said the meeting was about adoptions. Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff says the president misled the country, and he told CBS,
I think there's plenty of evidence of collusion or conspiracy in plain sight.
The president's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, tweeted, they need to make Chicago safe again, blaming Democrats for another violent weekend. Friday through Sunday, 63 people were shot in the city, 10 died.
And on Sunday alone, we're talking about Chicago making it into the record books for violence. In 14 hours, 44 people were shot, 5 people were killed.
That's Tia Ewing with Fox 32 TV.
One hospital was so overcrowded that they stopped taking in new ER patients.
A police officer shot in the face a few hours ago in Philadelphia while serving a warrant. He was critically injured, expected to survive, though the suspected gunman said to be in extremely critical condition after the shootout. In Indonesia, the earthquake that caused that panic on a popular tourist island is blamed for at least 98 deaths, thousands of homes damaged. Crews still trying to reach all the victims. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Cloudy skies, 71 degrees at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Chicago police continue their investigation into a violent weekend. As many as 62 were shot and injured, 10 killed Friday through Sunday evening. Chicago Chief of Patrol Fred Waller.
We know that some of these incidents were targeted and are related to gang conflicts in those areas. CPD detectives are working around the clock to investigate the incidents.
Meantime, Chicago police are investigating the death of a woman found in a bathtub with her hands and feet bound in a South Side apartment. The leader of Willow Creek Community Church is stepping down. Lead teaching pastor Steve Carter says he can no longer serve the large church in South Barrington with integrity. This follows the resignation of founder Bill Hybels, who has recently been accused of sexually harassing former church employees. Lollapalooza is over. Chicago police say 7 were arrested, 120 hospitalized. Many of those needed medical treatment for heat exhaustion. A 3-year-old boy has been identified after dying in a Southwest Side house fire. Cook County Medical Examiner's Office says he was Christopher Cherry. His death has been ruled an accident. A musician says she was kicked off an American Airlines flight because of her cello. Jeong Hugh is a student at DePaul University and had flown to Miami for a recent music festival. Hugh says she was asked to get off that plane because the cello was too big for the seat. Padres over the Cubs 10-6. White Sox over the Rays in St. Pete 8-7. At 8:03, it's time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, here's Ginny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, PepsiCo's longtime chief executive Indra Nooyi is stepping down. She was with the company 24 years and was CEO for 12. One of her lieutenants, Ramon LaGuarta, will take over. Wells Fargo is admitting a technical error may have resulted in 400 homeowners losing their property. The mistake added lawyers' fees into a formula for a mortgage loan modification program. The change bumped hundreds of homeowners from qualifying. They will receive a settlement that works out to approximately $20,000. Legendary French chef Joël Robuchon has died. He owned restaurants in Paris, Las Vegas, Tokyo, and around the world and wrote several cookbooks. He was 73 and died of cancer. The Dow was up 136 on Friday. The Nasdaq added 9, and the S&P was up 13. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
It is 8:04. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder still doesn't see any evidence of Trump helping the Russians.
He's arming the Ukrainians, something that the Obama administration didn't do. Some 200 Russian soldiers have been killed in Syria. He criticized the pipeline to be built from Russia to Germany on the grounds that it will increase Germany's dependence on Russia for about 75% or so of its natural gas. Please explain to me how it is that the president has hurt our country and improved Russia.
The Larry Elder Show, weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's the Ford Summer Sales Event. And now, while selection is best, it's the best time to buy. With amazing offers across a full lineup of Ford vehicles, now is the time to make summer go right with Ford, America's best-selling brand. Stop by a local Ford store or shop online at buyfordnow.com, because there is no better time than right now to get behind the wheel of a new Ford during the Ford Summer Sales Event. Ford Summer Sales Event is here. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 72 months plus $1,000 Ford credit bonus cash on a great lineup of Ford SUVs. Best-selling claim based on 2017 calendar year sales. Not all buyers qualify for Ford credit financing. 72 months at $1,389 per month for $1,000 finance regardless of down payment. Not available on Expedition. For all offers, take new retail delivery from authorized Ford dealer stock by 8/31/18. See dealer or go to buyfordnow.com for qualifications and details.
It's 8:06. Let's get an update on that morning ride to work in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim.
Thanks, Mike. It's a rough ride on southbound 53 and the eastbound Adams Tollway I-90. There's roadwork on 53 at the Adams Tollway. The southbound 53 delays start at Rand Road. The eastbound Adams Tollway, it's stop and go from 59 all the way to 53 due to that construction. The southbound Tri-State is heavy, 120 to 176. Northbound Archer to Ogden and from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral due to construction. Reagan Tollway's fine. Veterans Memorial tight southbound North Avenue to 22nd, northbound 63rd to North Avenue and Army Trail to 290. Eden Spur has roadwork delays. Eastbound Waukegan Road to the Edens, westbound from the Edens to the Toll Plaza. The Edens is 19 minutes Lake Cook to Montrose, but outbound 27. Kennedy, 37 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 48. Eisenhower, 45 minutes, 390 to the circle, but outbound an hour and 8 minutes. Really heavy outbound on the extension, starting at 83. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38. Bryant, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northwest Indiana's just fine. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Morning shower in spots, then sun and clouds. Severe thunderstorm late in the afternoon and into the evening. High today 89. Cloudy and humid for the night, low 71. Tomorrow, sun and clouds with a shower or a thunderstorm around, high 81. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently 73 at O'Hare, 72 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Opportunity Project. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Well, President Obama informally jettisoned blue-collar families in his 2012 election.
Oh, Saturday was Barack Obama Day, by the way. I don't know what you did to celebrate.
Barack Obama Day where?
In Illinois. It wasn't an official holiday, but it was just recognition.
Oh.
You know.
Yeah.
I don't know what you did.
I went shooting, actually, to celebrate it, which is, I think, appropriate. And so he jettisoned white, blue-collar working families. And then it's been formalized in the intervening 6 years. The Netroots Nation Conference, as memorialized in the Atlantic, pointing out that 5 keynote speakers of color, all of whom underline the potential of a multiracial coalition of voters made up of African Americans, Latinos, Asian Americans, progressive whites, under the tutelage of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And Marcos, the Daily Caller's Marcos Moulitzas was on Meet the Press this weekend, and embracing socialism and the label.
You either embrace the label and own it and be a player, or you can be like Andrew Cuomo and be off in the sidelines and irrelevant. That's where this is going. Because when you really look at what that so-called socialist platform is, and Nixon's right, they're going to accuse us of being communist before all is said and done. When you look at it, it's basically healthcare, access to healthcare, access to education. I mean, these are things that people actually like. If you go down item by item, people actually want these things. Donald Trump may not. He doesn't want his taxes to go up. But everybody else kind of does. So I actually want to have that debate. Let them talk about what it means to be a socialist. We're not the party that's being bought and paid for by Russia. We want to talk about this, the socialists. We are the party that is looking out for Americans and America.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Marcos, let's have that debate. I'm looking forward to it. I'll put up our folks against Cynthia Nixon and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, that's for sure. How will that play in Central Ohio? We're going to find out tomorrow. And for some insight on that and the political landscape generally, we're pleased to be joined again by Selena Zito, Washington Examiner reporter, New York Post columnist, CNN contributor, also the author of the new book, The Great Revolt, Inside the Populist Coalition, Reshaping American Politics. Selena, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
So they're stuck on socialist on the left side of the aisle. How does that play out, and how much should we take away from whatever the outcome is tomorrow in Central Ohio in that special?
Well, it's really interesting to watch, this pitch left, a very far left for the Democratic Party, because it's exactly what we calculated and warned about in the Great Revolt, in looking towards what's going to happen not only in 2018 but 2020. The very one thing that we reported in the Great Revolt is that if this happens, this only strengthens and gives the opportunity for Trump to win again in 2020, and for the Republicans to hold on to more seats than maybe they possibly historically should, because the reaction by the Democrats to this new populist coalition is to go left. And so when I was just in Ohio 12. It's counties surrounding Columbus, Ohio, for this special election. And, I mean, maybe I'm just seeing something different, but I certainly didn't see what a lot of people are predicting, which is a tight, close race between the Republican Balderson and the Democrat O'Connor. Now, Danny O'Connor, the Democrat that is running, is a moderate Democrat. But unfortunately, he has to then answer for the Democrats that have gone far left, and that doesn't help him because he stumbles, and he doesn't quite know how to sort of ditch the Democratic Party, but then not ditch it. So it's a problem that I think a lot of Democrats will have to face in November.
And what should their answer be? I mean, you just can be true to who you are, correct?
Well, I personally think that's the better thing to do. I think Democrats and Republicans need to run to represent the districts that they live in rather than a national theme. But that doesn't seem to be the wisdom that a lot of them do, right? I mean, even Republicans, if your district is similar to the populism of Trump, then run what represents your district. Don't run as Donald Trump. And the same for Democrats. If you are not a socialist, do not run as though you're going to be representing a Brooklyn, a Brooklyn seat, and or even a Nancy Pelosi seat, which is San Francisco, right? If your district isn't that liberal and you want to win that seat, that's the last way you need to run as a candidate.
How do you receive, speaking of President Trump, how do you receive, because you think a little bit differently than the prevailing wisdom, such as it is in the D.C. press corps, how do you receive those tweets that Trump offers that target members of the D.C. press corps, name calling and criticism and allegations of fake news that have, the likes of Maria Hinojosa at NPR suggesting that the D.C. press corps boycott White House press briefings, send the interns, and don't cover any of the Trump rallies because that's not news. How do you receive this interplay between the president and the D.C. press corps?
Presidents have forever and a day not particularly cared for the way the press has covered them. Donald Trump, it just vocalizes what most of them thought. This is a different guy, and he approaches things in a different way. It doesn't change how I cover things. There was something that really just got under my skin over the weekend, where the D.C. press corps got their panties in a bunch, if you will, over the museum, which is a museum dedicated to news, covering, selling fake news T-shirts.
Right.
And they just took them to task and were just like so over the top outraged. And I responded and said, look, if you're gonna, you can't be outraged over a T-shirt in your job. Like, you
I
just
want one
can't.
of those T-shirts.
In particular, if you're a member of the press, if that offends you, then you should get a different position, a different job. I mean, I didn't enter this job to be liked. 90% of the time, both sides of the aisle hate me, and that's like considered a normal day. I don't understand that, and I don't understand just being all the dramatics and the smelling salts. I mean, just do your job.
Well, I mean,
I get threats all the time. I get abused all the time on Twitter. I get the worst emails and direct messages, but I don't advertise it, and I don't lose my mind over it. It's part of the job.
I don't even think it's so much. I mean, if I'm doing a little bit of armchair psychoanalysis here, I don't even think it's so much like these the threats that supposedly they're under, or Jim Acosta being chanted at. I think it's the sense that they expect people to genuflect before them and hold them up to be the vanguard class that they think they are, speaking truth to power, being a check on power, when in point of fact, they often are acting as handmaidens to power, just not this president, that's all.
We're not in a different class. We're no different than anyone else, and I'll just leave it there.
Okay.
But some think of themselves as movie stars. I mean, they do. I know some reporters who tried acting. They couldn't get into acting, so they became reporters.
Sure,
I mean, it's pathetic.
Yeah. Let me ask you this about this piece that your colleague Byron York penned over the weekend in the Washington Examiner about the documents released, the Christopher Steele documents released on Friday, which, among other things, detail that Steele kept providing information to the FBI after his contractual relationship had ended, which is actually in contravention to FBI procedure. And he used Bruce Orr, essentially at the Department of Justice, whose wife was working for Fusion GPS, if we can follow all this, as a cutout, essentially, to communicate to the FBI. And, of course, Byron York, being the diligent journalist he is, specifies the number of times there were meetings and communications and so forth that it revealed in these documents that were released. How important is the continued detailing of the interconnection between all of these Obama-era officials at Department of Justice and FBI and in the intelligence community, and their violations of their own procedures? Also, somebody violated the law on unmasking Michael Flynn, which everybody has sort of forgotten about. How important is it to keep reporting on this to essentially act as a check on the legitimacy of the Mueller investigation?
Well, I mean, that's essentially that's her job. It's that kind of detailed reporting and connecting the dots and keeping power in check is an integral part of our job. Not just the click of the moment, not just the gasp of the moment. In fact, actually, I would argue those are the least important aspects of reporting. And what Byron is doing is critically important, and one of the few people that has consistently covered this with the detail that it deserves and needs.
And the other question that this prompts, the Carter Page FISA document release, so these documents on Friday, is, and perhaps this requires more prodding from the media as well. Why won't President Trump use his power to declassify or release more information related to this investigation and lay it bare for the American public?
Right. I mean, I think that's going to be the pressure going forward, right? I think that's something that's important that he does, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's not something that he does do in the not too distant future.
All right. She is Selena Zito, Washington Examiner reporter, New York Post columnist, and CNN contributor. The book, The Great Revolt Inside the Populist Coalition, Reshaping American Politics. Selena, thanks always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having me.
Take care.
She joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, a WWE wrestler makes a political win, and Uber, Amish Uber. Yes, the Amish texter has been big-footed. But first, here's your forecast for today. As you can see, there's Some storms rolling through the area right now, north of the city and into the Lake Forest and other suburbs north of there into Wisconsin. Then we're going to have a little bit of break in the afternoon and then more storms early this evening, going on and off throughout the evening. And then tomorrow we're going to have sun and clouds, but can't pass out a passing shower or thunderstorm, a high of 81 degrees. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Any problems on the roadways because of this rain? Here's Jim Telemonte, who joins us in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Lots of problems, Amy and Dan. Antioch got a train that's stalled, and this has 83 and North Avenue in Antioch blocked in that area. Edens looks good inbound. Outbound scattered delays to Lake Avenue. 27 minutes, Montrose to Lake Cook. The spur has roadwork delays in both directions. Kennedy, 37 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 48. Eisenhower, 45 minutes, 390 to downtown. Outbound an hour and 8 minutes from downtown to 390. Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to the drive. Outbound 38. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Big delays on the eastbound Adams Tollway, I-90, a solid mess. 59 to 53. There's road work on southbound 53. And southbound 53 is very heavy from Grand Road to the Adams Tollway. Jim Talamonte and the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, with all this recent rain we've had this summer, Permaseal is hiring in all departments, especially sales, customer service, and installation. They're looking for people with a great work ethic, who have ambition, a positive attitude, want to learn new skills, and have a desire to make the world a better, drier place. Does this sound like you? Then go to permaseal.net/careers to apply today. No experience is needed. Permaseal will teach you to become an expert in waterproofing and foundation repair. Their experienced team offers great training, year-round work, tremendous growth, and great fun work environment to become a part of. To apply, go to permaseal.net/careers. And if you're looking for a career change or a dry basement, you know who to call. Permaseal at 800-421-SEAL. That's 800-421-7325. Or go to permaseal.net.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies in a capsule.
I've got ankylosing spondylitis, which is a arthritic disease, calcification of the major joints and spine, and I just don't have the pain that I used to have. It's really kind of amazing. Balance of Nature has been an amazing product. I've recommended it to literally hundreds. I'm a pastor, and I've said, y'all just try it. Give it a month. Give it a try. And so hopefully they have. But it's an amazing product, and the neatest thing is when you first open up that bottle and you can smell the fruits and vegetables. Every time I open one, I just get a big kick out of that.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751, or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Looking for a fun summer vacation idea? Charlottesville in Albemarle County, Virginia is a short and easy trip with daily nonstop flights on 2 airlines from O'Hare. Tour the homes of former Presidents Jefferson, Monroe, and Madison. Sip wine at one of the area's 30-plus wineries. Take a hike in Shenandoah National Park. Dine al fresco at one of the many farm-to-table restaurants, or stroll down one of the longest pedestrian malls in the country. Plan your trip today at visitcharlottesville.org.
Looking to refinance your home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. Sally's heard hundreds of Team Hochberg's ads, so naturally she called the nation's largest online lender, obsessed with their Rocket, because she saw their ad pumping gas. Bad move. The Rocket-loving lender quoted Sally a rate higher than us, and closing costs $6,000 more than Team Hochberg's. We explained the exorbitant closing costs and refinanced Sally into a lower rate and credited all of her closing costs. Team Hochberg doesn't have a Rocket, but we have lower rates and substantially lower closing costs than the nation's largest online Rocket-loving lender. You could call the nation's largest online lender who spends millions promoting their Rocket by charging excessive closing costs, or you could call Team Hochberg at 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 312-751-1333 or visit am560david.com.
Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee 4358.
888 and MLS 19186.
Hey, if you're missing teeth or even a single tooth, then dental implants are a fantastic way to regain your confidence, your smile, and your dental health. Hey, Sean Hannity here. So what are you waiting for? Find out now if implants are for you. Successful implants don't come from an implant factory. Skill, treatment, installation, those are the main differences for successful lifelong implants. That's why you need to see Dr. Neruzzi at Fox River Periodontics. Dr. Neruzzi is the recommended choice of dentists that don't do implants themselves. You need the experience, the skill, and honesty that over 25 years of dental implants brings, and you're going to be happy with your implant. It's not a mass production procedure because everyone is different. And Dr. Neruzzi wants to talk to you about dental implants today.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants.
Call Fox River Periodontics at 630-232-7400. They're online at implantsforme.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, look at you munching on your gift.
Yeah, Mike Scott generously got me some saltwater taffy from his little jaunt over to Mackinac Island.
Yeah.
So I heard he was going. Said, you got to get saltwater taffy. You go to Mackinac. From Joanne's Fudge, which I believe is J.B. Pritzker approved. And it's got like a little logo there, like a little Amish logo there. Because, Mackinac Island's car-free, right?
Right.
Isn't it still car-free?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
And another place where it's car-free is on or in Cologne, Michigan. Have you ever heard of it? They have a huge Amish community there. And, oh, yeah.
Sure.
All right. A Michigan man named
Weird Al
Timothy.
hasn't come out with anything new in a while. All right. Michigan Amish, what's the
Yeah, his
story
name
there?
is Timothy Hochstedler. Thank you. I pronounced his name right.
Okay.
And he's decided, you know what? This Uber thing's hot right now, so why aren't I an Amish Uber?
Uber is a cool thing. Every so many years something new comes in. Uber's hot right now, so we can have the Amish Uber buggies and go and just deliver people to the front door steps.
At what point does your adoption of technology preclude you from continuing to be Amish?
Well, so here's the deal. He doesn't have a cell phone, so he's not technically registered to be an Uber driver, so I hope Ram isn't listening to this, Ram Emanuel.
Well, he's in Michigan.
I know, but still, his brother is hooked into the whole Uber thing. Here's the thing. So you can't call on the cell phone and have a pickup. You have to flag him down, and every ride is $5. Doesn't matter.
Well, that's not really Uber.
Yes, it is. It's Amish Uber.
First time Uber, and we're riding in a buggy.
And don't you know he has a horse named Morgan, and Morgan gives kisses like the puppy does to J.B. Pritzker.
He loves people. He's a Morgan. Morgan is a people's horse. They love doing their, giving you a kiss or whatever,
Right there on the
lips.
lips.
As Amish, are you even allowed, as a Mennonite, are you allowed to conduct an interview using
the Mennonites,
a microphone?
That's weird because when they told me there was sound or audio of the Amish Uber guy, I said, no, because Mennonites in Iowa could not talk on camera.
And the
they
reason
could walk. They had a march.
The reason you know is because you dated a Mennonite.
No, I didn't date him. They had a protest once, believe it or not, in Iowa. I don't know what town I was, eastern Iowa.
Were they protesting electricity?
No, I think it was the Iraq War. I can't remember. It was so cold out. It was just freezing. But they
that's
walked
what you
by
take
and
away.
then they prayed and then I had to make a package out of it, which is speak for I had to do a story on it.
Yeah.
Well, let's hear what other people have to say.
Because I don't think there's Uber down here, so it's pretty cool. Like it gives people that option that can't drive or don't want to drive or shouldn't drive.
So it's safe.
We have horse-drawn carriages on the Mag Mile.
Those are expensive. This is practical. $5 a pop.
Yeah,
This
it's
is
practical
great.
if you're going more than 2 miles. It's going to take you 4 hours to get there, but okay.
That's awesome. You could say that you rode with the Amish. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We're going to talk to Sean Spicer. Yes, the Sean Spicer, former White House press secretary for one President Donald J. Trump. He has got a book out. He's doing a book tour. He's coming to Chicago on Wednesday, and we're going to be visiting with him on Wednesday as well. But we'll get a sense of how the book tour is going at 8:38.
Yeah, and guess what Chicago restaurant wouldn't let us have his event in their restaurant because it's Sean Spicer. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Rain showers crossing the area, 72 degrees. The evacuations of thousands of tourists is underway after a deadly earthquake rocked one of Indonesia's most scenic islands. The quake registered as 7.0, hit the popular tourist island of Lombok near Bali today. Authorities say it killed at least 98. 200 are injured. The death toll is up to 7, including 2 firefighters in the Car Fire in Northern California. It's burned 160,000 acres and 43% contained. The U.S. is expected to reimpose its first sanctions against Iran since President Trump pulled the U.S. out of the Iran nuclear agreement. Authorities have 6 in custody connected to the alleged assassination attempt on Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. Maduro survived when explosive drones went off during a military event in Caracas. Chicago police investigating a violent weekend. As many as 62 here were shot and injured, 10 killed through Sunday evening. And Chicago police are investigating the death of a woman who was found in a bathtub with her hands and feet bound inside of a South Side apartment. Detectives this morning consider that death a homicide. A musician says she was kicked off an American Airlines flight because of her cello. Jeong Hughes says the airline could have handled that situation a little better.
You have so many chances to tell me you cannot abort yesterday. You never told me until I sat down.
Who is a student at DePaul University and flown to Miami for a music festival. She purchased an extra seat for her $30,000 cello and was assured by American Airlines agents there would be no problem. However, once she was on the return flight and seated, who was asked to get off the plane because the cello was too big. She believes they were kicked off because the plane was overbooked. The airline then rebooked you on a larger aircraft and gave her some meal and hotel accommodations. Padres over the Cubs 10-6. White Sox beat the Rays in St. Pete 8-7. The news service of Mothers Against Drunk Driving, supporting victims of drunk driving and drug driving and underage drinking at no charge. Call their 24-hour victim helpline, 877-MAD-HELP, mad.org, madd.org. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher wants an end to the Russia investigation.
Asking about the Mueller investigation, he wants it over with. Rudy Giuliani was quoted as saying that the president's attitude is enough already. Somebody asked Giuliani, a reporter, is he going to fire Mueller? No, he doesn't want to fire Mueller. He wants it to be over with. Get it over with. There's no collusion. Give it up.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
8:35, a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eastbound Adams Tollway I-90, it's jammed from before 59 to 53 due to road work on southbound 53. 53 delays are from Rand Road to the Adams Tollway. Veterans Memorial slow southbound North Avenue to 22nd, northbound Finley to North Avenue, and Army Trail to 290. Tri-state delays are northbound from the Stevenson to 31st, and Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. Eden's 19 minutes like Cook to Montrose, outbound 27th. The spur is heavy both directions. Kennedy inbound delays start at Kimball, 38 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 25 from Montrose, 24 in the Express. Outbound 13 minutes to Montrose, 35 to the airport. About Eisenhower delays start at North Avenue, 43 minutes, 390 to downtown. 25 from Manheim, outbound 42 minutes to 390. Stevenson, 44 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38. And Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Severe storms could cross the area this afternoon. Rain showers this morning. In between, sun and clouds. Very warm today, high 89. Currently 72. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Advanced Planning Advisors, bringing you Smart Money Talk with Mike Moylan and Rob Curvin, Saturday mornings at 6.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We were talking to Selena Zito earlier, and she was talking about how unhinged the D.C. press corps was over Newseum having fake news T-shirts and, the fainting spells and the need for smelling salts and the like. Well, you haven't heard unhinged until you heard Maria Hinojosa over the weekend. She's of NPR. She has a suggestion for what the D.C. press corps should do in response to President Trump and his tweeting. They're not going to take it anymore.
If, and I've said this on your show before, again, send the interns. It's great training to the press conference. If we completely, we as the media have got to start taking certain steps to communicate things. I think a letter, absolutely. But what if we just turned away? What if we didn't show? What if all of us just said, for a whole week, we're not going to talk about one thing that comes out of the White House? It's radical. I know it's upsetting because we're just like, but this is not how we operate. But he is coming after us. Are we going to have to start talking about this after one of us has been killed? Is that it?
So apparently Trump is targeting members of the D.C. press corps for assassination. This is so unhinged, so it becomes so ridiculous and overheated that no less than Buffy the Vampire Slayer had to weigh in.
No, she's back.
Christy Swanson was on Greg Gutfeld's show on Fox talking about the media. She's a Hollywood actress.
So when they see CNN, they go, you, because that's their outlet. So am I wrong?
No, I don't think that that's wrong, but I think that your advice is actually good. The tough love, right? Because I do think, not to get technical on the polls, that he's leading women.
This is Dana Perino. I get the wrong clip there. Sorry. But ultimately, she said the media needs to take a chill pill.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they need to relax. They're a little ridiculous. Well, for more on the ridiculousness of the media from somebody who had to deal with it for quite some time, we're pleased to be joined by former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer. His book, The Briefing, Politics, the Press, and the President, and he's in town Wednesday for a book signing here in Chicago that we'll be at, which should be heap big fun. Sean, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Thanks for having me.
Good morning. What about that? Here's my reaction to Maria Hinojosa from NPR. I would agree with her. I would like the D.C. press corps to send the interns to the White House briefing because it would confirm or deny my suspicion that the questions and comments would be indistinguishable from the professionals who attend the White House briefings.
Well, I think that the thing that is interesting is that you've got this, and I talk about this in the book, that there's a pack mentality that exists within the press corps, at least within sort of the elite Washington ones. But the thing that's interesting is that, and one of the reasons that I started to call on people, quote, in the back of the room, is that I think that there are a lot of voices that don't get captured in the briefing room. And that's, not the business media, the urban media, the niche media, the conservative media. The problem is that you've got guys in the front couple rows that represent the big media conglomerates that all have the same question, that all want to perpetrate the same narrative. But what I think should be done more is kind of what I did in the past, which is you bring in local media through Skype, you call on folks. But part of it is that what you need to do is shake this up more and more and not let them try to dominate what the American people see and read and hear.
I remember when you were there and there was a woman who Skyped in from Montana, and she was concerned about border security. And I remember people, the mainstream media, they were laughing at her question. Do you recall
that?
I thought that was so rude.
there was another person that I brought in from out west who talked about land use, federal land use issues, and the media hated it because they didn't like their time, which is how they view it. It's theirs, and issues coming up that don't fit the narrative. There's one instance, Amy, that I write in the book where a reporter asked a question during a press conference about national security between Canada and the United States during a joint press conference between Justin Trudeau and our president. And the media went nuts on her because they thought that she should be asking questions about Russia that day. And so because she was asking about national security, her colleagues went nuts on her.
Oh, my God. Because it is an issue.
I wanted to ask you your take on Sarah Huckabee Sanders' performance so far, somebody who followed you in that position as White House press secretary, particularly against the backdrop of how things got ratcheted up. I remember when you were sort of accosted somewhat gently, but accosted nonetheless at an Apple store. And that sort of was just the beginning of what's transpired since. And so her job, the job she's done as press secretary in the context of, being thrown out of the Red Hen and the rest of it.
Well, look, I think that there's clearly, it's interesting to hear some of the comments you played earlier with respect to the media, because there are folks that have been coming after us for a while, and I don't recall I wasn't looking for a pity party, but I don't remember too much of the concern from the media about the safety of individuals, who serve in the government and in this administration. But, for me, I think Sarah's doing a great job representing exactly what the president wants to get out there in his views. I know sometimes people don't like that she's the messenger, and they'll say, well, Sarah, don't you think? One of the things that you have to remember is that her job it's not about her. It's about the president. And for that reason, I think she does a good job of making sure that his views are articulated and known.
What did you think about Scaramucci? I mean, Anthony wasn't there, but I don't even think 2 full weeks, but what did you think of his short tenure there?
I write about that in the book, Amy, that I have nothing personal against the guy. I just don't think that he has the qualifications, the background necessary to serve effectively in the role.
Yeah, I think that's more than a fair assessment.
Yeah, you know what? That's very nice.
Let me ask you, so here's one of the things that everybody wants to know, and there's varying opinions on it, but a few people are closer to the president than you, how the president processes advice and makes decisions. So as the press secretary, you're also a counselor to the president. You give him input and suggestions, recommendations, and then he processes all the advice he's getting and makes his decisions. But what's that like? Is there some structure to it? Is it somewhat whimsical? Does it depend on the day? What was that process like for you?
Well, the big misnomer out there, Dan, is that that the president doesn't take advice or listen. In fact, nothing could be further from the truth. He seeks it, he welcomes it, but once he makes a decision, that's final. And what happens, I think, sometimes is the people who don't like the decision try to make it look like he didn't take their advice. But there's always two sides to an issue, and he sort of wants a robust debate among the folks that serve him to give him the best idea of what's in the best interest of the country. So he does take it, and he does welcome it, but ultimately he's going to decide which side of the issue he's going to come down on, and then he expects people to kind of follow through on that.
You were a political animal, of course, before being the White House press secretary. I remember actually a mayors and managers meeting for this company, Salem Media, where you were at in advance of the 2016 election, sort of handicapping the political landscape for us as a comm person at the RNC. And so, you understand that bubble in D.C. very well. Do you think that Trump has been disruptive where he should be, and essentially abiding norms where he should abide them? Or has it been sort of a bit of a mixed bag as he's learned the Beltway the way that you know it?
Well, look, I think in terms of what he came to do, he did exactly he did and is doing. Meaning, you're right, he's disruptive. He's coming in and changing things up, not abiding by anybody's standards for what has to be done, but in fact doing it the way that he wants to get it done. So sometimes it doesn't always look pretty, and sometimes it may not be perfect but I think he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do. And beyond just saying that, he's also getting results, and that's probably the bigger point.
Now, your book tour is causing some angst. I know that we were going to go to a certain restaurant. I don't know if we can say the name of the restaurant.
Public House.
To have your the meet and greet, and they did not. They were. I don't know if they're afraid of you, but they didn't want us there. So we're going somewhere else. We're going to Harry Carey's, but the one in Rosemont. But how have you responded to all this? I know that they canceled one of your signing events in Massachusetts, correct?
Correct. But you know what? I did an event yesterday in Toledo, Ohio that had a few hundred people. It was fantastic. I was in San Francisco to a sold-out event of 400. Sacramento, we had another event up there with 500 people. All great events. Look, people have a right to express themselves. I respect that. But so far, we've had we had an outlet store in Massachusetts that canceled the event. I think that's unfortunate because there's clearly demand. But we'll do what we have to get out there, and I think that we're going to have a great event in Chicago on Wednesday.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. I think we're going to as well. Now, what has it been like, sort of in quote unquote private life since you left the White House? Do you still get feedback when you walk around town, go to the grocery store, and the like?
Yeah, generally it's pretty positive, though. I mean, people who disagree will come up and say, "Hey, I didn't vote for your guy," or I don't really support your side, but thanks for your service. And then there's just a lot of folks that are really positive. So I've had a very good reception since leaving the White House. Not all of it's positive, but at least it's been respectful and civil.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
Do you miss your job? Do you miss your position?
Do you miss Jim Acosta
as White House press secretary?
No. I was honored to do the job, but I have not had one day where I look back and say, I wish I was there.
Mm-hmm. And in addition to the book, what's the future hold? Maybe a spot in the New York Times editorial board or something?
I don't know what that spot would be.
Yeah, that's right.
Although I was pleased. I will say, speaking of a spot, the book did make the New York Times bestseller list. So
congratulations.
I was excited to get that. Thank you. That's one spot on the New York Times I'll take.
Right.
I've got a podcast that I launched called Everything's Going to Be All Right. We've got I run a small consulting firm, and I've been just doing a series of projects that keep me extremely busy. The book itself, writing the briefing, took 6 months, and so that was a really intense period to get it done and make the deadlines that we had to make.
All right. He is Sean Spicer, former White House press secretary, author of the bestseller, The Briefing, Politics, the Press, and the President. He'll be in Chicago for a fun book signing event on Wednesday. Sean, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. We'll see you Wednesday.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Amy. Appreciate it. You bet.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Are you happy with what's looking back at you in the mirror? I'm Dr. Howard Cooper from Excellence in Dentistry, and we'd like to help you with that smile. Whether you're looking to fix 1 or 2 teeth or a whole smile makeover, we can take care of all your dental needs. We have a beautiful modern facility and a great staff. And most importantly, we love what we do. That's what sets us apart from other offices. Let's face it, a dental office is not everyone's favorite place. Whether you're 2 or 102, we make it fun and enjoyable. We perform all types of dentistry as well. Fillings, root canals, crowns, extractions, dentures, implants. We do most everything right in our office. And for you denture wearers, we have a full in-house denture lab and can perform repairs and relines while you wait. We can also talk about adding implants so your denture will snap into place or become screw retained. This is the closest option to natural teeth. We are conveniently located in Gurnee at the corner of Washington and 21 in Saratoga Square. So make today the day you give us a call. 847-244-4000. That's 847-244-4000. Or visit us on the web at gurneedds.com. We look forward to seeing you, and remember, second opinions are always free. Excellence in dentistry, creating excellence one smile at a time.
What if you could enjoy total peace of mind when it comes to home security? What if the best technology came from a local company who puts the customer's needs first? Alarm Detection Systems is the right choice for an alarm system with complete control from your phone or tablet. Know when your children arrive home from school. View live streaming video. Check up on your pets. Receive alerts for extreme temperatures. Know if leaks or floods have been detected. Get real-time text alerts sent to your phone. Family-owned and operated since 1968, Alarm Detection Systems understands that nothing is more important than the safety of your family. Your security system will be monitored by our central station in Aurora, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Alarm Detection Systems is an authorized Honeywell equipment dealer. Our on-site security consultation is always free. Visit adsalarm.com or call 630-844-6322. That's 630-844-6322. Alarm license number 127000143.
That's Dot. She's here to greet me after a long day. She's the only one who wants to be near me when I'm sick. She's my best friend. Thanks to folks like South Suburban Humane Society, Dot went from living on the street to a dog that wears clothes. Yep, I'm that guy. So how did I get so lucky? Before I met Dot, I spent time at South Suburban. Giving to a nonprofit isn't always about giving money or donating food and supplies, although that's appreciated too. South Suburban Pets just want your love. We encourage you to come by the facility, take a dog for a walk, play with Dot's cat friends, or even foster a pet to keep your flexibility. If you're interested in how you can volunteer or donate, visit them at southsuburbanhumane.org. That's right, Dot. South Suburban is a 501c3, which means all donations are tax deductible for individuals and businesses. Text DONATE to 708-866-0065 or visit southsuburbanhumane.org. South Suburban Humane Society, creating a better world for pets and their people.
My name is Lauren Sullivan, and I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 9 years ago, and I was severely disabled. And about 6 years ago, my mother had found Balance of Nature, so we decided to give it a try because at that point, nothing was helping. I was skeptical at first, but over time I realized I had more energy levels. I was sleeping better, which was huge, and my hair looked better, my skin looked better, my nails looked better, and then I was able to weed off some of those medications. And I know, had I not found Balance of Nature, I would not be living the quality of life that I am now.
When you call, use discount code CHICAGO, and we'll take 35% off your first preferred set of fruits and veggies and have them shipped to you free. Call 800-246-8751. That's 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com and use discount code CHICAGO.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Ryan Siebert, CEO of SG Home Builders and a customer of Signature Bank. Over the last 10 years, my business pivoted multiple times to adjust to the fluctuations in the Chicago real estate market. Signature Bank's partnership with us and their ability to adapt to changes has allowed us to become a leading custom home builder. Signature Bank is a relationship-based business bank right here in Chicago, providing services and advice that address our unique situation, and they serve as a trusted consultant on what works best for my business. Signature Bank helped us build SG Home Builders while we were busy building dream homes for our clients.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Seems like summer just got started, but it's not too soon to start thinking about the fall, at least when it comes to your child's education. Registration for fall enrollment for grades 7 through 12 is happening now at St. John's Northwestern Military Academy, providing young men and now women with an outstanding education and preparation for life. Since 1884, St. John's Northwestern Military Academy in the beautiful
extreme conditions. So even on scorching days, it'll puff its chest out and be all like, hey, summer heat, find another car battery to drain. Napa Legend Batteries with $15 mail-in rebate. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa Know-How.
Napa Know-How.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 8/31/18.
Save more with Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Hey, Todd, Liberty Mutual just saved me $782.
Liberty did what?
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Maybe I should switch to Liberty Mutual.
Visit us online to... Hey, stop echoing.
Sorry.
Visit us online to get a quote, and you could save $782. Liberty Mutual Insurance. Based on a recent countrywide new customer survey, coverage is underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company, Equal Housing Insurer.
History captured one tweet at a time. Never before have we had a president who so consistently speaks directly to the American people without media manipulation, and we just talk this fact all the time on the Mike Gallagher Show. Just the Tweets is a book that put it all together by Tricia Hope. It contains no commentary, just the tweets from the president. Volume 1 begins Inauguration Day, January 20th, 2017 through January 19th, 2018. It includes all the president's tweets for that time period. Just the Tweets is sure to be a collector's item, and it's your opportunity to have unfiltered words from the president to share with your kids and grandkids for years to come. One example, on page 43, President Trump tweets about being wiretapped by President Obama. That's the beginning of what is now unfolding before our eyes via the FISA application. This book is high-quality, hardback, blue linen, gold foil lettering in keeping with other classics. You're going to love this book. Just go to justthetweets.com to order your copy today. Justthetweets.com, justthetweets.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Brian Urlacher inducted into the National Football League Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio over the weekend, and he really did a nice job with his induction speech. Recognizing the fans and the organization and his players as well as those he played against.
But most importantly, his mama.
Yeah, his mom and his stepfather. Those were the especially poignant moments, I thought. Here's Urlacher on his mom and the work ethic she instilled.
I began work when I was 12 years old, pushing my lawnmower around town mowing yards. And later on, working in the oil fields of Lovington. I went off to college, a lumber yard in Albuquerque. My mother definitely taught me the importance of learning my way. Mother, thank you. If it wasn't for you, I definitely wouldn't be here today.
And she'd since passed away, so he was talking about her, post-mortem, but he loves his stepdad.
Fortunately for my mother and the three of us, when I was 12, she met the man I considered to be my real dad, Troy Leonard. If my mother wasn't a good enough example of an exemplary work ethic, now I had another one of my stepfather. My dad went to work every day at 5:30 a.m. in the oil fields of Lovington. Not once did he complain. My dad's here tonight. Troy? I'm not doing it. Troy, you're not only my father, you're not only my stepfather, you're my father. Thank you, Dad, for helping a young boy who needed direction and a role model, for coming into our lives when you did.
Yeah.
His stepdads never get enough recognition, I don't think.
It was nice.
Good for him. All right, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Police say 60 were shot, 10 killed in Chicago shootings. We'll get Chicago police reaction. WIND Chicago News Time, 9 o'clock.